As famed dungeon masters ABBA once said, when helping a new player with the paladin class, don't go wasting your health potions. Lay all your hands on me. Hello, and welcome to Homebrew, the show where we avoid the crushing dullness of everyday life using our two favorite forms of escapism, alcohol and Dungeons and Dragons. If this is your first time watching, what we do on the show is we play in a homebrewed world, hence the name, based loosely on Irish mythology. There's like flavors of Irish mythology in there, but way more based on the beers and brews and alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverages we drink while playing. Speaking of, hey everyone, hey, how's everyone doing? Let's figure out what we're drinking around the table. Starting with, you know what? I'll start with myself. It's the festive season. So
this has been a whirlwind of Ben.
Yeah. I'll work my way around. I'm starting with a Metal Man Raz beer. Raz! It's a spicy berry sour, which seemed like when I say it now, it seems less festive, but at the time it was like spicy berry. That's a festive flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is.
Depends. I have different Christmases. We Christmas differently.
Yeah, if it's like cinnamon and clove spice, then yeah, you're bang on.
I think it's berry spice.
Yeah, what I meant is if the spice
chili.
Itself, if the spice itself wasn't a chili spice, but a cinnamon.
Here, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. That's
right. I had a Metal Man that time we did like the Q&A episode and we did like character building and stuff. I had a Metal Man then, which was very, very tasty, but it was a green can. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Was it Tip Tango?
Yes, that was it. You're
well. Because I also have a Tip Tango.
Metal Man Tip Tango is very good.
Yes.
I think the character ends up named Tip Tango, didn't
it? Yeah. We built her in that episode.
Yeah.
So go dig into our special episodes and find the episode where we create Tip Tango. Well remembered, Lucy.
Lucy, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Long Ways, a sweet Katie cider. What does that mean? Is Katie a cider word, an adjective for words that I'm just not getting? Sweet Katie cider, though. I've got some sort of cidery. Again, this is also confusing. Cider fizz. The cider does fizz. I don't know what else is in that. So.
The Katie thing is confusing to me. Like, does it go Katie-er? Like,
yeah.
Is it Kate-ish?
It makes me just think it's sweet cagey cider. It's cagey.
Is
but
it
anyway,
good?
This is medium sweet, so I'm in a kind of fruity buzz, and then with a random like Tysky lager to go with. And some red wine if shit gets crazy because it's the last show of the year. So I've got some red wine to break out as well.
Nice.
That's quite the fact.
You're not working because you've got quite a mix of shit.
Yeah, a real mix of shit. And I went to the shop and got these things. Like, what was left?
To mellow us out, maybe, or like a considered selection. Keelan, what are you drinking?
Well, I started on the classic Stiegel Radler, just starting a light. But I do have a couple of other beers. I have a Dot Brew Pursuit of Juicy DIPA. I'm a big fan of Dot Brew from some of their earlier beers, so I'm looking forward to that. Juicy. And then what's this? That I have a Third Barrel Eye Candy.
Ooh, it's very nice.
But looks nice. Has a big eye on it. 7%. Jesus, you should really look at these things. What's this? 8%. Okay, good thing I started with Radler.
I don't know why it hasn't taken us. Like, we are 35 episodes, 35 canonical episodes in, more than 35 episodes in. But there surely should be like a game mechanic for whoever brought them highest percent beer. Like you go, oh, I have a template, and you get like an advantage you can use. Like, we should have been doing this since day one.
I was thinking we did drinking games for the Paddy's Day episode. Go back and check out the Paddy's Day episode, but we haven't really done any. I was wondering if it's something we will bring in, because more often than not, someone is working the next day, or someone has to drive or something. So it's like,
You know the way, like, if whoever's hosting D&D, they usually get house advantage. We should, maybe 2021 has some show shaker uppers in there.
I like that.
Ben, have you once granted inspiration?
No, maybe.
Once, maybe once at the start.
Is it? Are you against it, or where do we stand on that? 'Cause
No, not at all.
We're just not.
Yeah, backed better. No, I find it sometimes a little bit strange to do it in games where there's bards, because inspiration from a DM versus bardic inspiration gets a little bit confusing. Not that it is, but it's same word for a different thing.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes forget. But you can also, in D&D, this show is as much about fantasy and boozing as it is about anyone who's never played before setting an example for them. Players can give other players inspiration with a DM kind of stamp, with a notary. Yeah, that's good. So if anyone does anything that they go, oh, that's some good D&D, then hold up your good D&D
that'll just never come up until now. You've never felt that we ever deserve it. So that tracks.
Yeah, he's playing it. We just haven't earned it.
Yeah. One day.
Moving on to Wes's beers. Wes, what do you have?
I kind of grabbed a bunch of weird shit. So I'm actually
cider, Tisky, and wine. Yeah, nice.
All beer, yeah, but not quite as diverse a palate as Lucy's. But we're going with the Yeasty Boys, which I've had before, which is very tasty. Mm-hmm. It's an Earl Grey IPA, which is weird. This one, which took me a while to find the name of, I just really like the label, but it's called Ransack the Universe. So get that into me. It is a 6.8, so it doesn't quite compare with Keelan, but I'm looking forward to it. And I have a few other odd jobs downstairs. There was one I had at the tills that was like a small 330 can, and it was like cola vanilla stout with cocoa beans or something, and I was like, that sounds good. Scanned it at the till, and it was €15, and I was like, not that good, so we put that back. So a bunch of other weird shit. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. In the audience, if you're watching live, let us know what you're drinking. If you're not watching live, if you're listening to the podcast or watching video on demand, reach out to us at Homebrew Quest is our social channels. So just let us know if you've come across interesting named brews, if you have a favorite brew, if you've D&D stuff to talk. Sometimes we talk D&D. It's mostly booze, but sometimes we talk D&D and other tabletop games. So reach out. We do have a Discord, and we do have a beer channel, which is probably the most active channel in our Discord.
Very much the most active channel.
Yeah. We share our beers of the weekend and stuff like that in there, so you'll find
people watch for the beer and just kind of sit through the D&D shit.
They join us on the drunken decline into this is sort of acceptable entertainment. Speaking of acceptable entertainment, let's get into it as soon as we can. But first, a couple of pre-show announcements. Lucy, you have a pronouncement.
Yes, the pronouncement that this is our last show of 2020, which is pretty wild. This is the last show. We're taking a bit of a Christmas break, so we will be back in 2021, which feels like it'll never happen. But on January 19th, the new year begins, and hopefully the decade really takes a good turn. Beginning with our next stream. So that's then. In the meantime, we are a podcast. The podcast is everywhere you get podcasts, and it's backdated, so you can be catching up. And just tell everyone about it. Tell people about the podcast and about these. And that's all that.
Yeah, there's going to be content coming out. Audio content coming out. It will give the podcast a little bit of a chance to catch up, because it's around episode 16.
Oh yeah, and now the podcast has reached the episodes where they have slightly different intros, where some of the people on the screen now have intro the episodes and do little hellos and goodbyes. So go check those out on wherever you pick Spotify.
I checked out the podcast, and it was weird because the one I happened to select had my intro. And it was working like, ooh, fun. And I was like, wait, I'm on a live stream literally every 2 weeks. Why is that making me giggly? Like, ooh, I'm on the radio. Ooh.
Still thrilling, yeah.
But podcasts are still not as good as YouTube, which is important.
Do if you're watching live, click the thumbs up. I know I see some of you've already done it. You little rascals. Nice job. And share it with your friends.
Yeah.
If you want to chat and watch along, if you're like going, who I haven't seen all 2020? My friend Dave. Send Dave a message and go, Dave, I've got tickets to this live show that's happening right now. Live your spontaneous life, Dave. Join in. Share that link around. But that's enough from me. Wes, you also have an announcement, I believe, before we die.
Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube. Pretty much. Likes, dislikes, it's all appreciated. Subscribe to the channel. I know you always hear it, but people often don't actually click the bell, which gives you notifications when we upload a video. We actually post links to the live episodes before we go live as like a premiere kind of thing. So You can go in before we go live and hit set reminder, which is really handy because then you get to watch from the start and enjoy all this stuff, which is the best part. And where the YouTube, the live show is ahead of the podcast, which makes it a little bit better. So if you want to stay ahead of the curve, you should like and subscribe and all that. And just share the video around, post it on socials, get people to watch it. Even if they don't watch it, get them to go to the page and click every button they can see and then leave. That's fine. Yeah.
Podcast is nostalgic. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to put that out there. It's nostalgic.
I can't wait until I start just transcribing it all onto a book, and then you can just like fuck the podcast.
All the mediums covered.
The novelization. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Just while I have the microphone wrestled in my hands, I wanted to give a big big thank you to everyone who donated to my Movember campaign. I know I wasn't on for the last show because I was snowed under with work, but I believe Ben plugged me. So a couple of you did donate to that. It was really appreciated.
Phrasing there is a little bit odd, but
what did I say?
I plugged him up good, folks. I plugged Wes. I plugged him.
Stand by it. But no, it was really appreciated. We raised about €800 for Irish Cancer Society, which was incredible. So really, really appreciate it. And then last one, my Tony Cantwell shirt has finally arrived. Friend of the show, Tony Cantwell. So I got my fucking raw shirt, which is what we do every 2 weeks here at Homebrew, even though it's not our catchphrase, but we'll use it. Go check out Tony's podcast on the show. What?
Nothing. I mean, everything that Wes has said is valid, but nothing is the actual announcement I sent him. So I'll do that. We are sponsored by Dakota Irish.
Oh shit! It got swallowed by messages. Okay, I found it now.
No, I'll do it. Don't worry.
It was swallowed by Ben's synopsis of the episode. Look at that. That's the catch up. That's what it got swallowed by. So
that's gonna happen in a second.
I hit my date beat, so let the record show.
Yeah, okay. Podcast 1, YouTube announcements 35. Fair enough.
I nailed it.
Yeah, you've nailed it every time, Keelan. Right. Yeah. The announcement was meant to do, but I'll do instead. It was to stop you having to listen to me for an extended period. But we're in it now. It's Christmas, and consider me your drunk uncle, just wagging your ear off. Come over here, kid. Let me tell you about Dakota Irish. Do you know Dakota Irish? Well, they handcraft dice trays, dice vaults. They have amazing dice sets. And if you're looking for a gift for the loved ones in your life that love tabletop role-playing games or any sort of kind of interesting tabletop accessories, head over to dakotairish.com. Use our promo code Homebrew10. That'll give you 10% off your first purchase. And if you're watching live, you're still within good time. If you're listening to the podcasts, look, Christmas is a once-a-year thing. You can plan ahead. But delivery cutoff dates are fast approaching. Everywhere in the world, you can still get on time using like express deliveries. So like standard delivery is passed for places like Australia, other made-up places like Neverwinter, Eberron, like just, places that clearly don't exist. But you can courier it there. You can get a courier to Neverwinter with a dice tray from Dakota Irish or Australia. If you go there right now, put some stuff in your basket and ship it away to your loved ones. Lickety split. Yeah, that's right. 23 skidoo. We're back in the olden times. Lickety split is the term we use in everyday living. You know Dakota Irish. We love Dakota Irish. They know you? Maybe not.
I'm sure they do. Also, just before we breeze past it, I've just found why I got confused. In my texts, and I realize this is petty of me, but it's important, Lucy was asked to do it. And then Ben said, okay, let's just swap it. That's what I missed. So, because I do feel bad about that because it's unprofessional and I'm nothing if not professional.
That's fair. I initially had Wes doing the podcast announcement and Lucy doing the Dakota Irish announcement. And I said, Wes will hate that. I'll do him a favor.
I will. Actually, we might do that for the next one. Just do it real begrudgingly, like you're a toddler that's been told to apologize to your brother. You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good twist.
I'm glad that I'm the only one not on that text chain.
All of the other texts are just about you, so
I've been sitting here.
It's a nice break from the Keelan talk.
Yeah, a nice thing.
We have a Homebrew hype squad. It's our hype squad for getting the word out there. Tell your friends. We leave you out because Keelan, you're notoriously not on the socials. So
no, I'm absolutely fine doing my position. Don't orient that as a complaint, and I'm happy not to be in a group with the three of you. So yeah.
Before we start the show, huge thank you to our tech team, our technomancers behind the stream. Without them, this literally wouldn't be possible. So if you hate the show, blame them. They are Paul, who's been keeping us going through lockdown and remotely, and then Angus, who we haven't had with us for a while, which means we haven't had awesome sound. If you're listening to the podcast and jump forward to a VOD and you're like, where's that sweet soundtrack gone? Because Angus is gone. So not gone forever. just not during this.
I was about to correct there. I was like, it sounds like you've killed him. But you're sad about it.
I promise. My wife's just on holidays in the mountains. She'll be back soon. I don't know why I said my wife. That's weird. Anyway, enough faffing about. Now, without further ado, grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, as we dive into a world where anything is possible, but not always probable. Welcome back, for the final time in 2020, to the realm of Hibernia. To close out the last show of the year, imagine, if you will, a large river coursing through the elven forest city of Dricht, now in ruin and shambles. And we close in on our sexy, sexy adventurers, emerging a little hungover from a burnt-out tavern in the distillery district of the city, close to the docklands, having just parted ways with the roguish halfling, Rin. Our party set about putting their plans in action, to learn as much as they can about the archfey Rua, to gather weapons and allies against her, and ultimately try to stop the world ending in just under 1 month's time. Made all the more awkward by the fact that Rua recently revealed herself to be the estranged mother of Iggy, the party's half-elf bard. Wanted for their supposed part in the downfall of Drake, the party disguise themselves as best they can, which is not very well at all, and sneak their way through the city towards a teleportation circle, which will bring them to the Dwarven stronghold of Sliabh Gem, far north in the mountains. For the dwarves have answers about Rua, and how her plan to merge the material plane and the Feywild may come about. They played some part in the building of the roadways Rua's constructed all across Hibernia, and these plans, well, they might pinpoint exactly where Rua's schemes might come about. The goddess Evandra, the change-bringer and mistress of luck, shines down upon the party, and thanks to some very, very fucking fortunate rolls of the dice, the party make their ways into the inner chambers of the city parliament, disguised as members of elite soldiers for the High Council, known as the Perpetuous Guard. But even a goddess has her limits, and right at the final checkpoint, the luck of the punks runs out. Spotted, identified, alarms bells were sounded as the party raced through the corridors of the High Council chambers and towards a teleportation circle, their only means of escape. Security, both magical and mundane, attempt to stop the party, dodging blow after blow, and they tumble into the room containing this circle. Huck, using a crystal shard gifted to him by Abbey de Vauclair, slots it into the large console decorated with a map of Hibernia, selecting their destination, Sliabh Gem. But in a moment's panic, Huck knocks the crystal to the floor, trying to remove it, and with just fractions of a second remaining before the teleportation circle closes, he dives onto the platform, leaving this key behind. And this is where we pick up tonight's episode of Homebrew Quest. I want everyone to make a Constitution saving throw.
Including... Wait, am I there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're there.
Was someone playing me?
Last episode. Yeah, you made it.
What?
We just pretended you were real slack-jawed and dumb, and we ribbed on you a bit.
That's fair. That's fair. You played it true to life. Okay.
Yeah, 19.
Oh no.
That is a big old 23 for Arlington. Strong boy. I so rarely get to make these throws, and when I do, I fail for some reason.
Yeah, true.
I got 6.
Ooh.
6.
Have you gone 2 months different again? You're either like traveling these magical ways.
6 for Huck, 23 for Arlington, 19 for Iggy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pouring this can with some speed because I realize on the side of it actually accidentally has something. It's called a huckleback, which, if true to form, the show being inspired by beers, we would shunt Huck back to drink.
That'd be bad.
But no, that's not what happened.
I mean, we realized surprisingly late into the show that we name everything, all the nouns after beers, and none of our characters are named after beers. So that's actually quite fortuitous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huck, you're now named after a New England IPA by Salt Brewing. Salt are from somewhere in the UK. Bingley Road.
I could
Bingley
be Bingley Road. Yeah, Bingley
Yeah.
Road sounds fun. Sounds nice.
Huck, you take
Sounds like a good
6
place to
psychic
grow up and raise
damage.
some kids.
What? I
You
take
take
how?
6 psychic damage as you blast through this teleportation circle. It's you feel last night's booze just heave up into your mouth, and you all land and find yourselves in a cold stone room. There's
Now.
no windows. There's no outside light. The runic glow beneath your feet begins to dim, and it goes pitch black. Does everyone have dark vision? Is everyone okay here?
I do.
No idea. I was gonna say it was psychic damage just because of the puka thing and it's being fresh. I have advantage on not cons. That doesn't make any difference. You know what? Don't listen to me. Unless I don't know if can puka see in the dark. Don't know.
Actually, yeah. Is Huck's sheet a halfling or a puka?
Oh, I'm a puka. I'm a homebrewed class now.
Because I don't think halflings have dark vision.
Halflings don't have dark vision, but pukas might. You know what?
I mean, they live in like glistening bright forests. If anything else, they have like double disadvantage in the dark.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Arlington.
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Really helpful.
I just think dark vision is. I don't think everyone should have dark vision. I don't like that I have dark vision.
I reckon pukas are blind.
You don't have dark vision.
It's not.
It goes completely black.
It's not in the sheet. So I'll just light my hand on fire or something.
I mean, dark vision is still limited to what, like 30 feet or something? Or is it dim light? I can't remember.
60 dim light. Yeah. Anyway, either way, for everyone who isn't Huck, you do find yourselves and see yourselves in these cold stone room. Huck, it goes. You go through this teleportation circle, feel your stomach heave, and just darkness.
I'm blind. I can't see. Who's that? I'm gonna wave around my arms.
Yeah. You were diving onto this platform, so I guess both Iggy and Arlington, you feel like just some puka hands tickling your ankles.
I'll grab Huck's free hand like a parent that's kind of consoling a lost child. I'm like, it's all right, it's all right. It's a bit dark. It's all right.
I try to punch him.
I mean, this is the desired effect. I think this cold darkness. This is what we're going for, right?
Can we see any people around us or anything like that?
Make a perception check, but for the things I'm about to tell you, you'll see these automatically. So you do see that there are unlit torches attached to kind of sconces on the wall. And you do see that you are on a sort of similar platform with a similar console. You're in a similar room, but all the sort of wood and delicacy and intricacies of Drake's teleportation circle is replaced with cold stone. Cold stone.
Okay. Is there a door?
Yes, you do see a door.
14 for my perception check.
14. Iggy, do you want to make a perception check as well?
That tells me I failed.
No, just so I'm not describing it.
Natural 20.
No,
oh, nice. Tell us how cold the stone is, Ben.
Yeah.
Arlington, you focus your eyes, but something about it not being a mile away. You're like, oh, this distance is too close to see perfectly.
Damn it, I never get to use my eagle-eyed perk.
Iggy licks the air and is trying to...
like a snake?
Yeah.
I'm glad I can't see.
Did I tell anything extra?
You don't use your other senses.
Yeah, you do. You see that there's one door out of this room, and you can see chains sort of along it. So there seems to be this large lock that sits in the middle of this door, and there's a series of outstretched chains leading from it to the corners and top and bottom. So like 8 chains in total, sort of shutting this door closed. You see the same kind of teleportation console. There's a map of Hibernia, but in this one there's only one slot, just Draked. So unlike the Draked one, which had kind of multiple slots for different crystals, this one just has Draked.
Oh, so much for getting us to Bad Glen. But I'm gonna go. There's a lock over there, and go over and inspect the door and the lock. Is it all those chains? Is it all
over where?
I'm gonna when we're going over there, I'm leading Huck, like I'm really leaning into the parent leading a child sort of thing, like come along, no, come on, like as in if he goes slow, like I'll pick him up and maybe do like wee.
I can walk for myself. Sure, come off.
Well, you'll get lost. I don't want you to fall into one of the dangerous pits that are around us. You know?
There are pits.
Well, no, there could be. You never know. You need to live life as if there are dangerous pits everywhere, my small little puka boy, my little prince.
Okay, if there aren't any pits when we when I turn the lights on, I'm gonna be angry.
Oh,
But
that's all
I let him carry.
Yeah, me
You let him carry
Up
like
to
a
his
little
shoulder.
bit.
What?
Like I carry him like on my hip, like full on baby.
Yeah.
Oh, this dynamic has taken a strange turn. Okay, I've adopted a puka.
I find a torch.
Yes, we'll find a torch as soon as we're able. We just need to. There's a locked door. We just need to figure out.
I can figure out the locked door as soon as we find a torch.
There's some torches here. The unlit torches. Can I? Show.
I'm so sorry. I always forget this.
I know. Well, it works on candles.
I'm going to tap Lou's shield and have it
Oh,
broadcast light.
Nice.
why did you do that before?
Huck, it's pits.
Just like
It's pits
how-
everywhere. There's nothing but pits around you.
He's safe then.
Yeah, the light bounces off the walls and kind of catches around. And funny enough, Arlington, your axe, which is dwarven made and forged, hums just ever so slightly, happily. Not for long. It just kind of goes.
Can I tell from my axe? I know it's got the engravings and the markings on the actual blade, whatever the metal bit of the axe is. Can I tell whether or not we're underground from that? Because I know I've got the topology of the area and stuff, and it works. I get a bonus for being under 400 feet underground or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. If you go to the Underdark, which is deep below the mines.
Yeah. So can I sense that, or do I just have to wait till I hit something to find out that I get those bonuses?
That's a good point and a good question. One that past Ben didn't answer, but present Ben can. Make a. Trying to think, the weapon version of an animal handling.
My axe modifier is real good.
Yeah. Maybe just a straight wisdom check.
That is going to be a 17.
17. Yeah, 17 is good enough. You can tell that you're not at that limit. You're not deep underground. Something about the way it would feel in your hands, kind of smoother or slick like butter. That's a good phrase. That's a terrible thing for an axe to be. But you're not that far underground, but you are underground.
Okay, cool. Okay. An axe seems to enjoy wherever we are. Cool.
Important note.
So the door is locked. I'm looking at the chains and stuff. Is a lock? The lock is locked, I guess.
The lock is locked. It seems to be this kind of chunky, brass, thick, almost cartoonish lock, and there seems to be these chains, coming from it. There is a keyhole, but no key.
Is the keyhole? This is a dumb question. Is the keyhole shaped like a regular key, like kind of the upside down exclamation mark style?
Yeah.
Does it look like an axe would fit in there?
How big is the lock, and how big is the keyhole? Yeah.
The keyhole isn't shaped like a classic key. It's more shaped like if you imagine the bottom of a diamond, you know, the way that would be sort of multi-angled, like something with multiple edges on it. Like if you were to put a D20 into a thing.
I was about to say it's in a dice, yeah.
Yeah.
If we were all holding the sort of shape you're talking about.
Yeah. So not
I was really hoping it would turn out I was like a Keyblade master or something, but that's fine.
Question: is lockpicking sleight of hand?
Yes, but you need to be proficient in thieves' tools.
That's
fair. Actually have thieves' tools as well, which
and you need to have thieves' tools. Yeah,
I'm sure I could bash some sticks together. No, then that's fine. I can't be useful.
Let's blow it up. Are there any desks or cupboards or any kind of storage units in this room that could be it'd be a weird room. It'd be weird for them to lock the key in here, I suppose, now that I'm thinking about it. But is there anything that we could look like anything we could search?
Make an investigation check.
Can I listen to the door to see if I can hear what's going on the other side of it? Or anything?
Yeah, make a perception check.
I'm going to try to light the torches so that we don't have to use his shield.
I was about to ask what you were lighting them with, but I realized you're a living weapon. Never mind.
Well, see, prestidigitation can light a candle. Does it stretch up towards a torch?
If it doesn't, you definitely have fire-based cantrips.
I know.
So,
I can just I can just blast a couple of
Historically,
Yeah.
fire-based cantrips.
The whole room lights up in a warm amber glow.
It's a 6 for my investigation.
No key.
I got a
Or
7
anything.
for
But
my.
that's what I mean. Like, as
17,
in,
you listen.
are there storage things around like that I could, Okay, cool.
There's literally nothing in this room except for the stone platform and this console. And
So you
even
said there was a map of Hibernia as well.
yeah, there's a map of Hibernia on the console. With
Okay.
In Driect, you would have remembered that there was multiple kind of slot holes to pick where you wanted to teleport to. This one just has to seem to have the one in Driect.
Okay.
Like it's a one-way.
We should remember the term slot holes if we ever think of rebranding from Huck's Punks, but that's for another time.
I like just living weapons. That's good.
That's actually badass.
This also works as like a kind of real Irish burn. You're a fucking living
Fucking
weapon.
weapon.
In some cultures, it's impressive. In some cultures, you just sound like an asshole.
That's what it sounded like you were calling Keith.
Absolute weapon.
It's a shame because we never get bored of Huck's Punks. So older.
Yeah,
they're on the top.
It's a mid point.
Yeah.
Keep,
Waste of time.
Ben, I got a
everyone's
17.
time.
17 for your perception. Yeah, you listen in. You hear like really faint, far away, a kind of did that come through in the mic?
It did, yeah.
Cool. That's what you hear.
I'm just going to repeat that to the guys into the room.
Well, it's pretty clear to me that someone is taking notes about what's happening here on a typewriter. Has anyone ever fought a stenographer before? They're quite fearsome foes.
Ooh, they also use paper.
Yes, I know. I'm not very comfortable with paper.
Paper
Oh,
cuts.
that was just a joke. I have no idea what it could be. Could be a giant centipede or something. It's most likely a monster, knowing our luck.
Does this, Huck, this shape here, you were holding that crystal that we used. Does this look like it's that same kind of shape? Like, would that have fitted here? You were really protective of the crystal, so I didn't get to hold it.
Aye, that's true. And without consulting with the DM, I'll say, yes. No.
It is the answer to the problem. I have decided.
No, it's not the answer because we don't have the key. So I should say no.
But I'm just wondering if you remember it.
Does it look like that? Can I investigate?
Yeah, you don't. You like it's pointless to tell you to roll to give you the same answer whether you get high or low. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'd be like, oh, natural 20. No, or one. No.
Well, you're
No, either way.
You were certain it's not that.
Yeah, it's definitely not that. That was more of a narrow, thin slot hole. This is more of a wide, chode-like slot hole, I guess.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll
I
say
hate how much I'm
more or
enjoying
less
this
that.
terminology.
I know this is more of a chode thingy. You can.
What's that now?
Oh, it's just this word, old Fey word. For
Like, when someone asks you what something is, never reply with "it's just a word." That's a given.
yeah. You got a problem with it?
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you caught me. It's not even a word. Yeah.
Look, I can't lie. So I told you the truth. It's a word. There was some old Fey, strangely shaped pyramids, wider at the base than they are at the top, because they're pyramids, and they were called chodes.
That sounds perfect then. Yes, I mean, fitting. So what do you guys reckon? We sort of, without I don't know if we can approach this from an intellectual perspective, and instead, do you think we could explode or smash this in a professional manner?
I mean,
I can see. Hold on, let me just set. Well,
Actually, no. Sorry, Hulk has already gotten out of my arms because he set everything on fire. Never mind. Can I test the strength of the chains? And I'm not going to try and like tear them open, but just to give them a decent tug to feel if they're like old or rip openable.
Yeah, that's a fair test. Make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh God. Yep, no one's touched them yet.
Oh, I was.
while he's doing that, can I
Wait, hang on.
do an arcana check?
Okay. So that is 11, but let me double check because I think I get something for that. No, it might not be till the next level. Damn it. Why did I take points in fighter?
You seem
No.
pretty.
Sorry, Huck, you had a question while this was happening.
Oh yeah, can I do an arcana check just to see if it's like magically chained?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so it's an 11, unfortunately.
11, okay.
I am bad at Arcana. Just so you know. I got 7.
7. Hard to tell. Looks like a gold chain. But you do all see, as Arlington puts his hand either side of this chain, they begin to rattle. And from either side of the door, the chains kind of suck into the lock itself, all directions. And then all those chains wrap around Arlington. And I need everyone to roll initiative. Is that initiative?
We've never rolled initiative in the first half hour of combat.
Remix to initiative. Arlington. Hold on, let me check. You take 6 bludgeoning damage.
Cool. And I'm not raging, so that's a full old 6. Cool. I also rolled dog shit for my initiative.
Yeah, me too. I've rolled 3 times today, and they've all been...
I rolled so good for initiative, but I have no idea what to do.
Yeah, you see these chains go all latch in, and then like a sort of a squid chain monster.
That's fucking badass. I'm very into that. I'm also so scared.
That's one way.
Anyone who knows. Yeah. The door is now technically open, but Arlington is being facehuggered by this chain.
Oh, don't say it like that. Now it's even worse.
It's gonna lay some locks in your stomach. You're gonna be birthing some locks, man.
Wait, that's it. Danger set. Okay, we're past it. It's happened. But I actually get it at 2nd level. God damn it. It's more for chat than game. I get advantage for dexterity saving throws against traps and spells. But we're past it. I don't think Arlington was paying enough attention. I was like, that's a weird thing to get later on. I thought it was a barbarian thing. Cool. Okay.
I was almost certain you had it soon as well, but you seem so confident that I didn't.
Okay, this is way more badass. I'm cool with this.
Anyone above 20?
22.
22. Anyone above 10?
Ugh.
Anyone above 5?
Yeah, 9.
9?
6.
6. Okay, cool. Top of the round, Iggy, you see this chain creature just and wrap around Arlington, giving it a friendly hug.
Hello.
I'm going to use suggestion on it and ask him not to. No, my question is, because you just said they're creature. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this does look like a creature, the way it's moving. Right?
Yeah, it moves like a squid would. I'm avoiding an insectoid arachnid term that I know specifically freaks you out. So I'm going with squid as opposed to the other thing that has 8 arms.
No, I thought it was like it's just a moving lock, and I'm looking at my.
It's weird how comparing it to an octopus does make it infinitely less nightmare-inducing, even though it's literally the same thing.
Yeah. Spider, chain spider. It's a chain spider.
Is that a thing? Or did you homebrew
it? I made it up. Stolen from Ocarina of Time when you open those doors. I was like, those doors are fun.
I thought it was like the ones where you have to like shoot them because they've got the mask.
Yeah. No. The ones, you know, when you put a key in, the chains kind of take off the door. I was like, that should be a monster. So I came up with a chain spider.
Cool.
They come in all sizes. Big for big doors, small for small bucks.
Thanks for the nightmares, Ben.
Yeah, chain spiders.
Okay, I'm
Iggy,
going
your turn.
to. I think first she would have screamed because this sounds terrifying. Also, I was about to rattle those chains, so I would also feel so like, oh god, it's me. I'm going to try and cast Phantasmal Force on the creature.
Yes,
absolutely. Which is intelligence saving throw.
Yeah. You cast it, and there is no mind to influence. So you know that it's whatever it is, it seems to be immune from the charm effect of Phantasmal Force. I believe it does say charm somewhere in the spell, I think. I think it's like the creature's charmed, and then it does something or other. So it is, you know instantly that did not take hold. There's no mind to
Well, that's fitting because I was confused, so it makes sense that I would have... Yeah, okay. I don't think... Okay. And then, I mean, I don't know what else I'm just gonna to end the. I'm just gonna be like try and grip one of the arms to try and pull just a single arm off, maybe.
Yeah, you won't be able to do it this turn. That will take a full action to kind of contest the grapple, but you can have it there ready for the next turn.
And even just to get in, I'm thinking to get in the fray to maybe distract him as well, or I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. So you've moved up to Arlington and you've grabbed on to try to reap one of these chains off.
And maybe this is a silly question. Like, do I need to not be in that kind of mode to to use inspiration at the end of my go to Arlington, can I be doing that as I'm doing that? Like as I
That's a great question. You can use inspiration whenever in your turn. Often bards use it at the end of the turn. You can use it at the start, the middle, halfway through movement, and you can use it now. It's totally fine to use inspiration.
Grab the arm, I'm gonna be like, look, like he'll be off in just a moment, Arlington. 1 sec.
I feel immediately relieved.
Yeah, and inspired.
Yeah, you're inspired.
Okay.
It brings us on to Huck. Huck, it's your turn. Arlington, you're on deck.
Okay. So, yeah, what's my read on this? Do I think this thing's alive? Do I think it's a creature?
Make and this can be a free thing. Just make an intelligence check.
Ah. Oh, well. Oh, the best roll I've had. Now, let's see it be modified by absolutely nothing.
What's the number on the dice, just out of curiosity?
The number's 15, and
that's enough.
The modification's 0.
That's fine. You know this to be a construct. You recognize that it's somewhat arcane infused, but it's not a living creature. It's an inanimate object that has been sort of brought to life through magical means.
Well then, second question. Can I banish a construct? Is it a creature sufficiently to be banished?
I don't know. That is a very good question.
Is like inherently from another plane of existence, is it?
But even if you're from the material plane, you can still be banished to a, you just return after a minute. If you're from an initial plane, you stay there, but I think, you know what? If there's anything you want to do in your bonus action or movement or any of that kind of stuff, let's do it. And meanwhile, I'll just Google, can you banish a construct? I'm sure Google will give me the answer. Or Bing. Can you banish yourself? That's the first thing. And
not even about D&D, just someone having a low moment.
I don't know. Banishing yourself is a good way out of a corner. If you're being chased by everyone, banish yourself. It's a nice wild card. I'd definitely have done that if it had occurred.
Are you a puka or a turtle that just wants to? No, I banish myself.
Just go to a different plane. See how it is.
What if you go like the plane of fire or something? Something where it's more dangerous by default.
Plane of fire sounds fine.
Like, I don't know if you remember, but old school viewers will know that at one point I went to the plane of, was it water? No.
The astral plane?
Astral plane, there we go. I was like, plane of water doesn't sound right. There was just a lot of water there. It was a pain in the hole to get around. It's not the same as our world.
Well, it seemed fun. Anyway, if you're being chased and it's your last ditch effort, I'd like to be able to banish oneself. Although to fail the charisma check might be difficult, actually. That's the key. It's a charisma check. Can that thing even pass a charisma check?
That's the question. The point of contention for anyone watching and anyone who's screaming at us right now, yes or no, or whatever the answer is you banish a creature. Whether a construct counts as a creature is, I'm sure there's an answer. I'm sure sage advice is given it. But for the purpose of this, let's just say for now.
It's like the way, like humanoid and construct.
Yeah, true. So I'm going to make a charisma saving throw against your banishment.
Yeah, it's 16 it has to beat, I think.
Well, it surely didn't. It got a 4. So with a sweet old, this disappears out of existence. And I didn't make that up. That's actually in the spell. It disappears with a pop.
I could get used to being a puka.
This chain spider just... how is there any sort of aestheticness to this, or where... how's it going? I don't mean like how are you doing. I mean like how is it going?
It's going well. It's going well actually. It's a bit busy in work, Yeah, I don't know. I figure he'd yell at it. To be honest, he's pretty pissed off. So it'd be like, away, out with you, is what he'd say. He would yell that and gesture flippantly, and I'll have to yell that every time I banish someone now.
Out with you.
Out with you.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. What's happening? Fair enough. Arlington, you feel this creature that was wrapping around you and slowly constricting just disappear. in an empty room with an open door.
That's one way to beat it up. Let's go before it reappears.
Is there like a handle on the door or anything?
We have about a minute.
There's no handle on the door, but it's a flat stone door.
I'm gonna give it a shove with my shoulder.
Easy peasy. Door opens without a problem. The only thing locking you in was that thing.
Okay,
Well,
just close
okay.
that behind us.
Huck, I'm promoting you to the group's thief.
I was always better at it than Rian anyway.
That's a
I
good
just
point.
need lights.
Could you
That's all.
banish a lock on a door? Probably not, but this thing's animated, so
That's,
yeah.
yeah, that's
we'll
the,
come back
that's
to
the
it.
one loophole in having a living lock that can kill you is that it can be banished.
It can be banished.
Right.
One of the first
Nice.
completely bullshit overcoming of an obstacle we've had.
Oh, wait a second. We're not quite in the clear.
Oh, do you roll a wild magic?
Nah, it's fine. Fine.
Okay, I thought you were going to explode.
Can I just
Uh,
leave behind a little picture of us, like a little picture really quickly drawn of the three of us just dead, like X's for eyes, and that we can just leave on the ground there, so that when the lock comes back from being banished, maybe he'll see that. Wait,
I think it's what happened.
Is
Well, I
this
think they
like
got away
Minority
with
Report?
pictures is
It's one of those
different.
things, just like, oh, well, I guess it's not in the bath.
Actually, I'm going to scurry back and grab that because maybe that's just evidence that we don't need to find.
Like our likeness is left at the scene
Yeah,
of the.
that's maybe a good idea.
Perfect drawing.
That's Iggy's like her was it
My
call,
signature.
what is it?
Calling card?
Calling card, yeah, call sign is all right. Yeah, you leave drawings of yourself at every scene of the crime.
Yeah, no, never mind. I'm going to pick that up again and go.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab my two slightly smaller friends and like haul them through the door and like slam the door behind, like arms spread, like.
I'm gonna maintain concentration.
Yeah, that's fair. as Icky scrambles back and forth, and as Arlington grabs you and pulls you through the door and just heaves that stone door closed, you find yourselves in a long, dark, narrow corridor stretching out before you. And you see that there seems to be wooden beams arched up to sort of support the roof and rocks above. The whole place just feels like like a bit thick with dust. It seems to be like dripping with thick mold. And right in front of you, like right immediately there, are a set of rail tracks that line the ground. There is a little brass lever that just sets from the wall.
Okay.
First question: was that a real cough while you were talking about the dust, or was that?
That's acting, baby.
Oh, you had me. I was like, I thought he was like choking up, and then he described dust. I'm like, ooh, how fortuitous.
No, he has COVID.
This is our last ever stream. I shouldn't say that. That's just tempting fate.
That was Trinity right there. They teach you cough. That's like on the last day before graduation, right?
That's like you start with trees and coughing. Convincing coughing is
yeah.
Okay. I ask this. Okay, you can tell me if this is bullshit or not. I think Arlington has a history in setting traps for adventurers. Does he recognize this sort of setup or anything? I was basically going to say, does the lever look like it's attached to anything? But why would you know anything about electronics or whatever the fuck's going on? But does he recognize this sort of trap?
That is a good question. It's such a good question. You don't need to roll for it. Like that is legitimately Arlington. You would have set like silly traps, like bags of loot. Experience and renown for any wandering adventurer. Ooh, an NPC in
But
Leeds.
you always have to set a way for them to overcome it, or else it's not fun. This is basic monster work.
Yeah. Yeah. Monsters aren't smart. They're just obstacles. You're more than an obstacle.
We're bags of experience.
There's nothing suspicious about this lever.
Okay,
except for its mustache and glasses.
What a lovely mustache. Rian?
Okay.
Is this lever? Is this like how we call for just a safe exit? Do you think?
Well, to be honest, it doesn't look that suspicious. And were I willing to set a trap for intruders, I certainly wouldn't insist that it were a trap they could spring themselves intentionally. So I'm sort of thinking we can flick the switch.
Not without a sign that says "Do not touch switch." If it was a trap, it'd have that sign.
Yes, well, which we don't see, so that's case in point. I was sort of in a bit of a tizzy last time. I don't know what was going on. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep or was drinking enough water. But do we know if we teleported into sort of an area that might be protected, or if it's in much use? Because if it's a frequently used area, I don't think, aside from the giant animated chains and lock that try to strangle me, I mean, that's one thing. But...
look around there, Arlington. It's definitely not in frequent use. There's dust and mold everywhere. and it's locked, and it's dark. But also, we have to go into the High Council in order to use this teleporting circle. I reckon it's fair to say it might be a comparable side of. Sure, we might be going to the High Council of the Dwarves if that's how they rule.
Oh yes.
Fair
I
point.
wonder, will we keep up the ruse that we are the what was it, the like precocious guards or something? And
Preposterous, perpetuous.
impetuous, yes.
Preposterous guards.
Perpetually precocious, yes.
I think it was perpetuous.
Yeah, and
Perpetuous is how I pronounced it, yes.
well, because we have those documents, so are we going to keep up that ruse?
I didn't know if that would be. Do the dwarves like the elves?
Oh yeah, I guess
Make
we'll just have to find
Make
out.
a history check if you want to know the answer to that question.
Yeah. Why am I rolling so badly? 6 on dice. And I doubt I have much history.
Ben, would I know that because I'm from kind of the area and I'm half elf?
Yeah. For unfairness reasons, you just automatically know.
No, I mean, like, can I roll for it as well?
6.
No, I'm being genuine though. Like, as Huck thinks of it, you're like, I naturally know this because of my backstory. Yeah. You haven't heard much movement out of Drake. You haven't heard much from Drake in general. At times, when you think back to your dad and you think about asking, like, Dad, why am I half elven? He never really, he said, well, there's a matter. Iggy, as you sit on his knee, is a tiny Iggy covered in paint. And he goes,
A little legless.
Well, the elves come from a place called Drake, but you needn't concern yourselves about the wonders of the world. Wonders, I mean, boring mundanity of the world.
What is your fascination with my closet of mystery?
You don't know much about that the dwarves, you would know, all of you kind of generally speaking, even with that low roll, the dwarves trade a lot. They're good traders. They like connecting things. They like connecting places. They like sort of building, different things. And between Dune Moor, that sort of fortress city on the cliffs of southeast Hibernia and these northwest mountains, that there would be some considered trade between there. Dune Moor was built from dwarven stone.
We haven't met that many of them, I don't think. Are dwarves are they commonly seen above ground, or are they kind of like a rare sight?
They are a rare sight. Not entirely rare, but you'd be more like to come across halflings and gnomes.
So I know that I think they really respect trade. So maybe we'll just be able to, like, I know we need the map of these roads. Maybe we can just buy it off them. Throw money at this problem. So maybe the ruse isn't needed.
I just wonder if perhaps we're in like the back of a palace or something, because they have the teleportation circle. That's my only concern. But I reckon we're grand. Sure, we'll just be like, hiya, boyo, let's have some drinks and here's some gold.
Well, yeah, we probably should sort of find ourselves in escape where we are now and ensure that when we meet new people, we don't look like we've sort of broken and entered. If we could, but I hadn't considered what if we're in a. What if we're very deep in an area where it's hard to sort of... How do we explain how we're here?
We're trade. We're business people.
Wild
businessmen here on business. Right, okay, yes, I'm remembering it. Go with what you know. You're absolutely right.
So
we
we're
encountered some witch that banished us here or something.
I don't feel those two stories mesh.
No.
We're businessmen who were cursed by a witch.
We play on the fact it's very prestigious. Well, of course. I mean, where we came from. There's no way we could be coming unless we were sent, from the High Council.
As a fly spins around Arlington's head, he kind of like,
yes, royalty, of course, absolutely, not a problem.
Okay. So, are we going to pull this lever?
I think that sounds like a good plan.
It's either that or walk in darkness. And sure, if it opens the door, we just get attacked by the lock.
What if you mind tripping this one? It's not that I'm scared. It's that I need to be ready to pounce if there's anything wrong with it.
Iggy will grab it and pull it down.
You
Yeah,
never.
absolutely. Interesting enough, as soon as you grab it and the conversations you've been having here, a minute would have passed, Huck, from your banishment spell. And you do hear behind you this kind of ka-chunk, and a very animated and cartoonish locking noise, as you presume that the door is just locked behind you.
Okay.
That fills me with so much joy, Benjamin, because chat, I believe Barry asked, would the lock reappear back on the door or would it reappear back on Arlington? And I absolutely shit myself in fear at the idea of a giant chain spider appearing from nowhere.
Now,
So-
in the spell, it reappears back where it disappeared from.
Yeah, that's wonderful news because that would fill my nightmares for some time.
It's like rats in New York. You're never more than 2 meters from a chain spider.
And also, especially because if it was a relational thing like that, that would be annoying because like you'd banish a creature and then you'd walk on for a minute and then it would be exactly the same distance ahead of you.
That's true.
Me again.
Okay, so Iggy throws the switch.
You hear creaking. You hear the sound of metal scraping against metal. And down this tunnel, you can hear, and then some time passes, and then you see kind of the sparks of light as like an old rusty mine cart just shuttles up towards you. Its wheels are a little bent at the side, and it stops right where you are.
It's weirdly adorable.
Hit it with your axe.
I'm just gonna have a little ting ting on the side.
Yeah, and it goes.
Does my axe seem to enjoy it?
Oh, no, his axe is alive. I'll hit it with a
Is it
fire.
humming again? Purring, if you will?
No, your axe doesn't respond to.
It's magical. I gotta ask.
Yeah. Ooh, my kink.
It's gone sort of rigid. Is there enough room for the
This
three
is
of us to
not
fit
very
in?
royal,
comfortably?
I'll say. So hopefully this isn't too fancy a stronghold we're going into.
Well, I mean,
It
if it's a
looks-
fancy stronghold and we rock up in a mining cart, I mean, it's sort of hard to shake that image off from a first impression.
Hmm.
Aye, but I mean, it's a pretty nifty mechanism, even if it isn't so posh.
Mhm.
Do you reckon if
Um,
we flip it back, do we go back the other way?
Let's
or-
climb in and find out. I mean, we're here. We may as well. Life is about living experiences, just like the chain spider.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump right in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll all climb in.
It's tight. It's a tight squeeze. You think
Ignatius, could you move your elbow a little bit? Just a little.
Never!
I sit like this.
Yeah. Do you pull? I presume you pull the lever again. Is that
will
the?
not move in tight quarters.
Yeah. I'll try to pull the lever again and jump back in.
Yeah, you pull the lever again. There's also one in the cart, so you pull the one on the wall, and at that, your cart springs into action, and you start rocketing along this dark corridor, and you can feel kind of dust kicking up around you, sparks get off the wheels, give you kind of flashes of stone either side, and then suddenly, and you almost have to all put your hands up. There's just this blast of light as this cart bursts from a tunnel into this huge cavern of twisting and interwoven mine tracks. You can see either side of you speeding past in all directions. There's carts brimming with shining gems. There's carts that are overflowing with coal. In fact, one of the pieces of coal, you all narrowly... Who's at the back of this cart? Out of curiosity. Who got in last?
I think, because I pulled the lever,
Yeah, Iggy got in first.
on top.
In the order of who said they were getting in, it went Iggy, me, Huck.
I figured I was on top of Arlington, to be honest, like on his shoulders.
Fair.
I mean, naturally.
Yeah.
You are my new adopted puka child.
Well, I don't think. I reckon you take up the minecart by yourself. No.
Yeah, I don't think it would make sense for me to go in last.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stretch around like a parent taking a child on a Disney
I'm
ride.
the booster seat.
Yeah. And as Iggy dodges to the side as this piece of coal just goes, it just kind of clinks you on the shoulder.
Ow.
And you can see even there's some minecarts and even convoys of minecarts containing these large leather bundles and satchels, and they seem to be stuffed to the brim. And everyone make a perception check.
Rian would have loved this place.
Oh God, yeah, we would have been stuck in this room for quite a while.
As he runs around.
13 for Arlington.
Was that
13?
perception?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Perception.
It'll
is
be good when we get Rian back for
17.
It'll be very detrimental as characters, but it'll be fun as players.
His adventure. I was just thinking this because it was initially in that long spiel that I sent Wes. I'm like, is this too long for one of your character intros? It was like the story of Rian plus a relic hunter Asamar plus a former champion of the hunt plus a pirate queen. I was just like, where's that show? Like,
Yeah.
that's. But maybe myself and Gav will do some duets and to bring the party back together when that time
Ooh,
comes.
yeah, fun.
Iggy, what perception score did you? 8? Cool. For Arlington and Iggy, it's just this visual bombardment is a little bit all too much. And as the cart begins to crest a hill and plummet down between these crossing over mines and it's gaining speed, you both just instinctively close your eyes. You're just a little bit too overwhelmed to look ahead or down or around you. But Huck is the only one who's kind of able to take in this visual stimulation, perhaps being from the Feywild and constantly being bombarded with oversaturated images. You can see rapidly approaching you a spot where the tracks in front break. They stop and just sort of curve upwards. And you are plummeting towards it.
I brace yourself, lads. This is going to be fun.
Yeah,
I go completely slack.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I'm gonna try and
brace yourselves.
ball up in the front of it thing. Like,
We're gonna go. We're going down, and then we're gonna go very quickly. I would say up.
Iggy, you ball yourself in the front.
That's so vague.
Slide into a sort of bobsleigh position, and Huck, you just hold on for dear life as woof, your minecart lifts into the ground, and as the audience we pull back, and it is like the Monsters Inc. of doors of minecarts in here. It's just woof, all this connecting rails and things, and we see them just pink past the screen and crash back down onto a perfectly aligned another set of tracks. Huck, you look over, and over the edge, the sheer drop. You can see far, far below you, there's this city plummeting deep into the underground. And even the largest kind of flames or any sort of flicker of light from here seems like nothing more than pinpricks of reds and yellows and glittering sort of phosphorus glows. And you shoot into another tunnel and it all goes dark for you. But you can feel your stomach lurch as the cart kind of wheels and spirals down and down and down in a corkscrew. It's hard to tell how far you've plummeted. You're just about got used to the sensation as the cart just wheels to a stop, pulling up alongside a slightly raised platform with a brass sign that reads, Drayt Express, out of service.
Just for, I don't know how pertinent it is to the plot, but I think Arlington's hair is back.
Aye, that was great. Let's go again. Where's the lever?
I think I've got some like little canaries kind of going in little circles around my head, and they're coughing, obviously. Given the location.
It's also a shame that Arlington wields an axe, because if it was a hammer, that would have been full on Donkey Kong. Just a hairy boy on some mining carts.
I thought there was gonna be a break in the track, and I'd have to like jump, tell you to lift it.
That's like, as in when you said the Monsters Inc. thing, I'm like, I know the visual you've got, but I'm just thinking Donkey Kong.
I was thinking Donkey Kong.
Yeah. It's a little of both.
Okay, Drayt Express, cool. So they know where we're coming from. Is there anyone at the station?
Yeah, funny enough,
is station too flattering a term for what we've arrived at?
No, platform station makes sense. Yeah, it's fair to say that this is some sort of. Actually, I don't think any of you would have ever seen a station before, but
no, definitely. I'm a bum.
But for players' purposes, yeah, you are at a sort of platform station, and you see rushing up to you, like out of breath, confused looking. There's this grey hair, a beard that's sort of flapping around, and sort of making their way as quick as they can in the stature that they are. This sort of well decorated but flustered looking dwarf. They have thick grey beard, long grey hair. There's gems and golden bands decorating to split it into kind of 3 distinct braids. I took this down earlier because I thought it might be pertinent. The color no, you know what? You don't know their name, so I'm not going to name them yet. But something struck earlier when we were talking about our beers that I was just
Hang
like,
on. This is something that's so important you felt the need to write it down and decided at the last minute not to share with us.
it was when we were talking about the beers we were drinking that I was just like, oh, that's a great name for the character that I know will be bundling
that's
up
an
to them.
interesting an evolution of the game. Let's name every bead on their necklace with
In
beers.
fairness, it's kind of it's a lesson in the fact that we're like, let's make a D&D show where we name all the characters after beers and then we never ask anyone what their name is.
Well, can I wave to this man in a sort of in a bit of a stupor, but and say hello, you must be the welcoming committee. Hello.
Awkwardly, I'm going to scramble over out of the golf cart and be like, what's your name? What's your name? Oh, what's your name? Hello, we're friendly. I'm Arlington. What's your name? I'm trying to make friends with the locals.
I don't mind them. They've clearly never been on a shoot of fun before. That's what that is, right?
A shoot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
The Miracle roller coaster even took off.
Shoot
right
of
there.
fun was
We call them fun
there all the
shoots.
time. A shoot of fun. You see them kind of close over a large round golden watch they have and stuck it into their pockets, and they seem to be carrying a sort of staff with a lantern sort of dangling with a runic blue. They go, how are you? So my name, Earl of the Greys. Earl Grey for short.
That's like my drink.
Yeah, I was like, Earl Grey would be perfect for this grey-bearded.
He's a real yeasty boy.
Earl of Grey.
Know that yet? Earl Grey, Earl of the Greys.
Hello, Earl of Grey.
We know that's named after a beer, but newcomers will be like, so they named their characters after tea? I don't understand.
I mean, everything's a brew. If fairness, tea brews more than beer does.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, we've definitely had those before.
Probably would have just as many characters to draw from if the show was inspired by the teas we drank at the table. It just
My name is Darjeeling.
Yeah, we should have a version like of the the Paddy's Day episode was especially alcoholic. We have like a tea. What holiday can be the really wholesome
a cleanse, just a real tea cleanse?
Yeah. Can I shake his hand then?
Yeah, you can. And he shakes it vigorously back. Earl of the Greys. How are you? How are things? How's it going?
No, we're here for business.
Oh, right. Well, this is the central hub for business. Welcome to On Pust. The hub uses anything, anyone, and anything.
Not even sure.
Oh my God! You finally got to build your favorite place on Earth. Okay.
Well, dwarves famously love post, so it made sense to put it in here.
It would be less horrible to me if you were like, "You've arrived in the hell dimension." Like we're in my nightmare.
Welcome to Onpost.
Can I ask? Do you have a local knowledge? We will be needing a place, an inn to sleep in, and also the location of the Clockwork Tangerine headquarters.
Yes. Well, look, it is my job here to connect you to where you're going. It's our pleasure to do so. I can tell you where to stay. I can tell you where the Clockwork Tangerine is. That's on the upper level. Where to stay, maybe the middle level. But if you don't mind me asking, how did you get here? Because this line hasn't been used in well over. And he flips his watch back out and looks at it and goes, well over a century.
That's a good watch.
I'm so sorry. Does that contraption measure years?
Well, it measures time. It's a watch.
Well, now I feel embarrassed.
You got a century out of looking at your watch.
It's just not. Yeah, the new Fitbit.
We were sent here on important business by the city of Drake. I understand the lines of communication have grown dusty and moldy, but there are very serious plans. Isn't the right word. We come here on important business, and we're here to speak with those in charge to share that business.
Well, that's none of my business, so I won't be asking any more. But I do, if it's not too personal, there's not many big folk around here. So what?
I turned back, assuming he's talking about someone else.
What are you?
Excuse me.
We're businessmen. A businessman.
It's just that I want to be making sure that you're not part of the gang that sort of be causing all sorts of trouble for my deliveries out in the mountain, would you? Because a lot of them are big and a bit sort of
Orcs, is it?
well, the orcs in all sorts, yeah.
And they all look the same to you.
No, they don't at all. Like, in fact, it's really hard to track them down because they all look vastly different. But bandits, because the thing covering your face there, is that just to cover like a fashion choice, I guess?
No,
Well,
which
you
I
need
have
to
a
see his
skin.
face.
I have a skin disorder, and I'm quite sensitive about it. But I wouldn't know an orc if it bit me in the skin condition.
Oh well, look, that's also none of my.
I mean, look.
I'm going to show my hand and show that it's quite hairy.
Do you know any orcs covered in fur? This is the sort of ailment I'm living with.
To be fair,
No, but I do
you'd say
know,
he wasn't specifically having a problem with orcs.
Yeah, it's like bugbears as well. So that's kind of why I'm asking. Yeah,
What's a bug? What's a bugbear?
it's a pain in my ass, I'll tell you.
Oh, I like this one. This is very good. But I have no idea what you're talking about.
He's just a hairy Bob.
It's just it's a skin condition. It's very difficult, and I'm quite sensitive about it.
Okay, well, oh gee, what the fuck? You're carrying a dwarven axe. Do you know that?
Well, you mean this? Well, now that you mention it, I did receive it from a dwarf. I saved his life. You see, he was trading in the markets, and some orcs attacked him, and I saved him, and he gave it to me. I'd never really considered that it was of dwarven make, but it's a good eye that you have.
Does be fine dwarven make you have there, man. That's fucking class. If you don't mind me saying.
Excuse me?
It's fucking it's class. It's great. It's
I know it's not a glass axe. It's definitely metal.
I appreciate that a dwarf such as yourself can appreciate the eye of it. It served me well. I can tell you that much.
Well, look, not dilly-dallying. I need to get you where you're going. My job will be done, and then you need to go to an inn, and then to the Clockwork Tangerine. So, if I was you, because I can't be with you all the time, I would grab a map of the city. To be honest, you'd be lost without it. You'd be fucking lost without it. Grab a map. That would be in a cartographer store somewhere in the middle level. Middle level, you'll find taverns, stores. What else do you find in the middle level? You'd find the river. The river runs through the middle level.
I'm sorry. Are we not underground?
Yes, you're in Sliabh Gem. Did you not know? Because you came here on business.
By teleportation network, and it's my first time this deep underground, and I wasn't familiar with the topography of rivers.
I'm not sure if we would begin higher and go low. We're
Rivers come in and out of mountains all the time.
Yep.
Well, that makes an alarming amount of sense.
Anyway, I should be getting that back to where it came from. And he pulls the lever, and the cart just kind of tick, 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 away it goes. Oh shit! Were there any breaks in the track before I? Oh fuck! Oh shit! It's been a while since
yes,
we've used
there was actually quite an enormous one. I'm not sure how that's going to fare on its way.
Oh, I wouldn't get rid of that. That one's great.
Now that I think about it, it did sort of arrive when we flicked a switch, so I think it'll be all right. And I mean, it's quite dark, so it's a bit of fun.
It's really fun. I'd sell tickets to that. There's a bit of a break, but it's lined up perfectly. It's a fair old ramp.
Funny you should say we used to sell tickets. There used to be quite a busy mine cart rail throughout the entire mountains. You could get from Sliabh Gem to anywhere, all the way down to the Chorus Mountains. I mean, it was our dream, my dream, to kind of connect all of Hibernia by rail. But well, look, roads kind of took the wind there.
Yeah, interesting you say that. This is my first time seeing rails. Did you call it, with the bars going across the metal parts? I've never seen a rail before. Is this an old technology, or is this something you keep to yourselves down here?
Well, I mean, it's not old, it's not new, but it's definitely, it's a mix of runic magic, infusing things with certain directional pulls, attaching them to a track so that they don't veer off it, and then, well, I mean, you experienced it. It works the way it works. What more can you say?
It's very impressive. You've done a wonderful thing down here.
Well, if you see any mine carts going around the city, hop on in. It will take you where it's going. Check where it's going, actually. It won't take you where you'll go where it's going. And if it happens to be where you're going, then chop.
Yes, admittedly, I'm new to this whole technology, but I would imagine the carts can only go where the track takes them.
I bet that's a minor problem.
I don't understand. I don't follow.
It's an
It
old.
sounds like quite a big problem, Huck. If you went to the wrong direction, it sounds quite important. It sounds like quite a major problem.
But you know what? It doesn't matter.
Arlington's fully not getting it. Like,
Earl walks you towards another minecart and goes, well, look, I'll tell you what. Jump into this one, and this will take you to the middle level of the city. From there, ask around, grab that map, and we'll figure out where the Clockwork Tangerine is situated. Though, to be honest, between you and between me, you won't miss it. It's a bit over the top. A bit new money, if you don't mind me saying. They went a bit lavish on the place they built. It's just, I mean, most guilds just keep it simple, keep it kind of salt of the earth, and then this place shoots up like I don't know who they probably think they're elves. Oh, no offense, miss. Oh.
No, she thinks she's an elf as well. You're right there.
don't elf-splain for her, okay?
And as you all hop into this little minecart, a bit bigger and a bit more comfortable this time, and he pulls a lever and goes, "If you need anything, Earl's my name. Getting new places is my game." And we will take our halftime break. Let's take our halftime break. As you rocket towards out of this disused platform station and into, as the tunnel opens up, the Dwarven city, the dominion of Sliabh Gem. So we'll come back at that point after the break in about 15 or so minutes. In the meantime, if you haven't done any of the things that Wes or Lucy or me or even Keelan, who's writing the book, have asked you to do at the start of the show, now's your chance. As you're grabbing beers, spread the word. If the only thing you've left to do is join our Discord, come join our Discord. I'm going to put the map we're about to see on screen in the Discord for anyone watching live or anyone who's watching in the future, but you can just scroll up and find it. So you'll get to see it there. So come join us there. We'll be back in 15 minutes. That's me.
Cool.
DMing's my game. Taking a piss is my game.
I love Earl of the Greys very much, and I must protect him.
All right, see you in 15 minutes, folks. Welcome back to Homebrew Quest. It's me, your late night show.
Spoken like a
host.
regular person.
And that's how people talk on the internet. This is the world we live in. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us for part 2 of Homebrew Quest in the last stream of 2020. If we're all here, fucking well done. What a year. We wouldn't have thought at the start of it that we'd be remote for as long as we are, and based on the news, we might be back in person soon. But to you, we've always been just squares on the internet in more ways than one, or voices in your ears on a podcast. So before we dive back into the show, I had some announcements. I wrote them down. One of them was we have a coffee account. We do have a coffee account. You can, if you enjoy the show, if we provide a little bit of light entertainment in your lives, why not consider going to coffee.com/homebrewquest. It should be in the details below. Thing is, though, we do the show every 2 weeks. We kind of do it in our spare time as a little passion project. It's a lovely excuse to have some great beers, have some fun adventures, to chat with you guys in chat, and hang out as friends. So we take all that coffee money and we put it to a good cause. And that cause is Maasai, the movement of asylum seekers in Ireland. So anything you give to us, we just kind of knock on. It's like a goodwill train. Choo-choo, all aboard. So we will be doing that when we hit certain kind of donation goals. So we just kind of, when it gets to like €50 or €100, we send it all on to Maasai. So by watching this show and by donating to our coffee, you're actually supporting a much better cause than a bunch of nerds drinking and making stuff up in their brains. That, I think, was the only announcement I have. There definitely was another one, but given that I can't remember it, it's not important.
Dakota Irish. No, we didn't. Sorry, I was about an hour and a half late. Sorry.
Yeah.
Irish. Yeah,
there's text.
That code still works. Fuck. Clarification. Constructs are creatures. I looked it up over the break. Jeremy Crawford, the Crawmaster, the Crawmeister, the Crawster himself,
The Crawdaddy.
the Crawdaddy, the Crossum with the Mostum. Jeremy Crawford, one of the folks over at Wizards of the Coast in D&D, has Sage Advice. Sage Advice is where he kind of corrects some things that are written in. A lot of it's like it's in the book, but in one of the cases he goes, Monster Manual has creatures of all sorts, and constructs are creatures in the Monster Manual. So constructs are creatures. Banishment totally would have worked, and in this world it did. We are on the level. Those fat cat lawyers in Wizards of the Coast aren't going to get onto us and say we're playing this game wrong.
Jeremy Crawford, stop tweeting at us. We get it.
Stop asking us for some brew advice.
He's so desperate. So desperate for attention.
What a lovely man.
He actually does seem lovely. I don't know why I'm making fun of him.
Yeah. Anyway, immersion, imagination immersion. The party have jumped into quite a lavish minecart and have bid farewell to Earl of the Greys. Earl Grey with his big grey beard that's decorated with gems and gold bands, and his long grey hair, his nice red robes, and his little pocket watch, and his lantern with lights hanging off it. And as he goes, farewell, yep, how are you, see you, bye, all the best. Bye. That
might be the most Irish character you've created so far.
Yeah. Of all things, I didn't want dwarves. As much as all the villains end up British in this show, I didn't want the dwarves to be Scottish. So
yeah, that's completely fair.
Let's put
I've been talking about like Scottish dwarves the past couple of weeks. Like the Dragon Age made them American, but everyone else makes them Scottish. I'm okay with them being dubs.
They're dubs, except for
such a Dublin name with Earl of the Grey as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Flight of the Earls.
You should have been called Barry's.
Oh God, are we maybe not Huck, but myself and Iggy, are we the British invading forces? We're like, hello, you lovely little strange Irish man. I love all your things. They're so nice. I might just take them.
I'll just hide my ears.
Ooh, so sorry. Ooh.
Yeah. Much to Ben's annoyance. None of us ever.
Earl Grey, was it? Earl Grey, I'd say. Yes, good.
French, kind of Scottish, British, and also just Lucy.
I just do. I told you, I do volume and speed. I don't do accents.
Yeah.
That's all I can do.
Yeah. I mean, I barely do accents. Earl slipped 1,000 times into somewhere from somewhere.
Well,
But anyway,
I liked it.
That farewell
he
was
was-
very Irish, though.
So
he
we're
was
getting
fine.
this cart to this middle district that he was telling you about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So as the cart rolls into the city proper, you see that you are inside a sort of large cavernous mountain, and you're rolling in on the upper levels. And to your right hand side, you see these big stone dwarven doors. You imagine that these are the kind of main doors into the surface level, into the open, into the wilds, into the kind of just outside of the mountain.
As we
Yeah.
pass them, Arlington points at the two of them and goes, "Dwarves, they're dwarves. Patent pending. Carry on with your tourism."
You appreciate that, but not minor and minor. Okay.
Well, that's just confusing. No one understands. It's too. It's all right. It's fine. We'll discuss it later.
Thank you, Iggy.
Who also didn't laugh.
I did.
see-
I clapped the miners.
I clap for the miners. You see various stone stairwells. You see various minecart tracks that delve deeper as sort of the city descends below. Unlike the depiction of Sliabh Gem, like there is sort of floor levels. It's not just all open, like fourth wall removed. But there is kind of bits that you see, like sinkholes that minecarts seem to be dipping down into. And you can see lights spilling in from like various torches. You can see that there's gleams that sort of glow from the rocks embedded in the walls. There seems to be sort of a phosphorus glow coming from the very bottom of the city. All around you, you hear the grunts, the shouts, the clamor of city life. You're right in the hustle and bustle of Sliabh Gem. Where does a young kid go to get a gig in this town? And you hear the constant shuttling of minecarts rattling around you. Iggy, you recognize this. You're like, ah,
Always.
but closer.
Okay.
And you hear the rhythmic beat of hammers. Ding, ding, ding. Except they're not tiny dinky hammers, they're big hammers. They're against steel. You hear the occasional rumble of forge fires, and as you kind of breathe in, there's like a slight smell of smoke. Wet stone, there's sort of a rusty copper that hangs in the air, like a nice red ale. You're like, what's that little copper at the end of there? And you feel as you kind of bustle into the city, like you're in a well-organized labyrinth. It's a little bit disorientating, not being a dwarf, to kind of look up or down. It's as if kind of gravity doesn't necessarily apply. Like you look up and see minecarts that, like from your angle, look like they're going across the roof, and you're like, that can't be right. You see stairs that kind of go at weird, sort of funky angles, and dwarves are walking up them. It's like it must make sense when you're there, is what you're kind of thinking.
This does sound like the on-post headquarters. That's cool.
Yeah, it's the posts everywhere. And you see these bundles of minecarts like firing out envelopes, and these envelopes seem to be flying through the air in magical means, delivering themselves into post box all around the city. You come up to a little crossroads, and you feel, almost without having to do anything, the track just changes, and you plummet down into the middle level. Right? And you see beside you the rushing of a waterfall that seems to burst out of the mountain and into this middle level of the city. The cart just kind of comes to a stop in front of what seems to be kind of stonework houses. You're in the middle of a seat. You are in the middle of a seat, but you're also in the middle of a street, which is what I meant. You are in a seat, but and a dwarf kind of expecting us to. Well, are you getting out? Because I need to get in. So, is this your stop, or should I wait for the next cart to come by?
Speaking of carts, is there the cartographer nearby?
The cart takes off. He goes, I have to wait. And you find yourself going around the circle, around this glorious, like glistening lake. And you see just behind you.
The bard of the party is like, this might inconvenience you, but I have a pun. So hold on.
It wasn't a pun. I was just saying.
Just a segue.
Don't regret it.
Iggy, make a perception check.
Also in general, I don't make puns. I don't think I ever make puns. I never think.
No, it was great. Oh, like if that instilled a boss fight and there was a chance we'd all die, I'd still stand by it. It was a great pun.
No, but it wasn't a pun. I was just connected.
Well, not a pun.
You don't like a perfectly good minor joke, which is a joke and a pun. And then she just goes, speaking of carts, which...
Yeah, I was just connecting the words.
Photographer is wordplay.
I mean, that's all comedy is, baby.
Funny.
I just say that because I know I don't make puns, I think. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
What was the roll?
Wait, so did Iggy immediately be like, make that joke and be like, I'm so sorry, I abhor puns. That wasn't what I meant.
No, I don't report puns. I just don't.
Any wordplay is purely accidental.
I
A perception
rolled,
check.
what was I running? Perception. Oh, that's 10.
10. You swear you see someone's map emporium just rocket by as you and your cart spins around the city.
That was that way, map. I'd say we'll try and get off the next stop then, without asking.
It pulls up, and there's no one waiting at this platform. But you've since learned that like it's a fast hustle and bustle lifestyle here. You don't get off the cartway. You go to the next stop, baby. Don't fall asleep in this cart. And speaking of, you do see a snoozing dwarf just kind of chugging away in a cart going the opposite direction.
She definitely missed his stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the cart in case that wasn't clear.
Yeah, Huck gets off. The two of you, it's too bad.
Just to preempt, I'm drinking one of my new beers, and I feel like this could be a good. It's a very dwarven name, or maybe not a dwarven name at all. But I'm now drinking Thornbridge.
Ooh.
But also Double Green Mountain.
Green Mountain, yeah.
Yeah, that seems much more like, it's not as fancy, but it seems more dwarven. Just to put that in everyone's minds.
And the stop platform says Green Mountain.
Okay, we got that out of the way early. Good.
Green Mountain. Gloss sleeve. I don't know, it's gloss green. Fuck, I should know better Irish, but you know, they say it in Irish and English.
We can't correct you, so.
I'm genuinely, I have classes. One of my Christmas presents this year is Irish lessons, and I'm really looking forward to them. So hopefully I'll be able to weave. Yeah.
Also, Double Green Mountain is tasty.
Okay.
So
just look for that emporium or walk around looking for
let's find a map shop.
Is there an inn or a bar nearby?
Yeah, you hop off.
We need to find a cartographer. Okay, but after a pint.
I was fucking right. I looked it up. Gloss is green in Irish. I fucking shoved it myself. You step off at Sliabh Gloss, the Green Mountain, and you look around, and there are bars. Let's name some bars. Let's say that one of them is called Tip Tango's Tango Emporium, and you get the feeling that dwarves tango there.
I'm not in the mood for dwarven dancing. I like the idea that tangoing is a specifically dwarven dance, ethnically dwarven.
I just immediately assume it's like the Russian Cossack dance, but
no,
there's the Raz Bar. It's like Raz Beer, but it's Raz Bar.
I like Raz Bar. Raz Bar is good.
Raz Bar.
You got Dot Brew.
Dot Brew.
Yep. I mean, we used Earl Grey, but have we used Yeasty Boys?
We have not used Yeasty Boys.
I like how you always add a question mark to it. I mean, what is generally, maybe you're not good with puns, a Beastie Boys joke, just in case you didn't get that.
Yeah, it's blatantly. Well, that's the thing. Yeah. It's not even a Beastie Boys joke. It's just sounds kind of the same as. They're not going for any other correlations.
Can't stand it. Shouldn't have canned it.
Now that I'm thinking about it, when I was buying this, the guy who was like actually taking the sale did finish every one of my sentences, and it was kind of hard. Now in hindsight, he was making a Beastie Boys joke.
Yeah. He just yelled sabotage in your face.
Yeah. He kept like slamming the table like bam bam. Yeah. Bam bam. I was like, what are you doing? I'm here for beer. Bam bam.
Yeah, you asked him what he was doing and he was like, it's sabotage. And he wouldn't get a word in.
Suffice to say, there's fucking plenty of bars. It's bar city. You can't cross Sliabh Gem without crossing a bar. It's one of the literary challenges they set themselves. Can you get across Sliabh Gem without crossing the path of a bar? And no one can.
The old pub crawl. I've been hanging for an old drink. It's surprising, but since that last adventure really took it out of me, I just gotta go get a quick drink. I'll be right as rain. I'm sure I'll come right back out.
Are Huck's hands shaking or anything, or?
For you weren't here at the last stream. I wild magicked myself to be hanging for a pint.
Okay.
Which is disadvantage on all saves, which luckily hasn't come up.
Okay, because that was fully sounding like a problem. Okay.
It is a problem. I'm hanging for a drink.
All right. One drink, but we really should get a map as soon as we can because it sounds like it's important.
I was going to say I could go and get the map and then we can come back.
It sounds like your DM spent weeks making one, as desperately wants to put it in your hands.
Let's go to the pub and
we fucking needed one, so I'm going to trust our Earl of the Greys.
Ignatius, I'll go with you. Huck, are you all right getting a drink by yourself? I'll be honest, I don't particularly.
I'm already on my way.
It sounds like I should be pretty secretive about where I'm going. I don't really think they care for bugbears around here.
I'm gonna make sure we see what pub he walks into, what bar he walks into.
Yeah, which one do you go into, Huck?
I mean, I like the idea of the tangoing dwarves, to be honest.
Tip Tango's Tango Emporium. Yeah, okay.
I want dwarves tangoing, some roses, you know.
And before you get
imagine a pub in our world called like the human pub. Like I would go there.
Yeah.
It's like clearly aliens trying to abduct people. Not suspicious at all. Just a dwarven tavern.
I'm just gonna tell him before I go. Do not. You stay here, and your only job, Huck, is to drink in here. Do not leave. Just keep drinking until we come back. Okay.
That's a good mission. I will drink.
Now, Huck, what do we do if a strange, suspicious man comes up to you and asks you to go with him?
Fireball!
Fireball, yes, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Burn the whole place down. Remember, we have no ties to these people. If you need to kill everyone here to keep your little head safe, you do it.
I'm going to burst out laughing on the street, so if anyone overhears that, and I'm just going to jostle. Good one, honey. Yes.
I mean, dwarves, I've never encountered dwarves before, but they kind of just... they just like fat bearded
halflings. Think of them as very, very strong halflings.
Sure, strong bearded fat halflings.
Just think of. I mean, you remember our friend Rian. Just think of the way he constantly wanted to steal things and have sex with everyone. Imagine that, but with alcohol and delivering the post. That's a dwarf.
Sounds great. I might become a postman myself and get to ride on one of those majiggers.
Yeah, Huck, you head into Tip Tango's Tango Emporium, and as an audience, rather unsatisfactorily, we just hear like the tango music, and Huck go, "Wow!" But we close and we'll follow. Arlington.
It's immediately apparent that's where the fun is happening. Now we cut to someone else.
Yeah, now we're gonna go shopping. Shopping episode. Everyone's favorite thing.
We'd like a map.
Yeah, are you just gonna walk the kind of
just gonna look for a map.
And we definitely make awkward small talk because we've never had just the two of us doing anything before. And like as a party, I think Arlington and Viggy have bonded well, but they've never had just themselves to talk, so it's weirdly awkward. It's like
so first time underground, and it's.
Yes. I wonder if Huck's doing okay. Like I'm thinking of empty nest parents that like are just kind of can't help but just talk about the kid.
I'm sure he misses us terribly. It must be very awkward for him. But we'll hurry back to him.
Look at that funny thing on the wall. Huck would love that.
Yes, that's pretty funny. We should probably get there quickly though.
Yeah, I think so. Great. Do we see anything that looks like a map emporium?
Yeah, you do. You come across Heaney's map emporium called Way Over Yonder. All your needs for finding things that are way over yonder.
Sorry, that beer is actually called Way Over Yonder.
Yeah.
Did you get that knowing you had to make a map shop?
No, I just saw it in front of me and I thought that's really good.
So good. That is the best named fictional map shop in the entire world.
Way Over Yonder is a good map company name.
Yeah.
I mean, is it just me, or does it look like they took a paint can and decided to make beer cans out of it?
Yeah. It looks like a secondary school English textbook.
I mean, that's
I
your
believe
outdoor.
It's from
that's your outdoor. Your Ron seal or whatever.
Heaney would teach me maths. I feel like that could be a maths textbook for sure.
I had a teacher called Mr. Heaney. He was an English teacher. Wes had that teacher.
I had him as well.
We went to the same school.
He did not give a fuck.
He liked me because I liked acting. Yeah, he gave me my first starring role.
Heaney, his favorite writer.
Yeah, I genuinely think this is from Derry, where Seamus Heaney's from. I think I can't find it anywhere though. I can't find their address, but it is an Irish beer. It's called Heaney, and I'm almost certain it's from Derry in Northern Ireland. It fucking tastes great, by the way. It's a farmhouse beer. I rarely like saisons and farmhouse ales, but this is good. And Way Over Yonder, to answer your original question, Wes, I picked it up and I thought, you know what, I could use this as like if the party asks directions, the dwarf could be like, way over yonder. Sorry, I drop it. It's empty. It's fine. It's in my mug.
Count your hard bets.
But just be like, way over yonder, and then that would be my way out of giving you any directions.
Yeah.
But it works way better as a map emporium.
Yeah,
obviously.
that might be the most aptly named thing we've had this entire show. That's very fitting.
This is where we need a supercut of all of the namings to really, like.
It will be a 1 minute long video. We don't do it as often as we think we do.
Yeah, that's
and then everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, none of the
Heenies.
answers ever came in."
Or it would just serve to highlight how often something happens and then we name it and then never see it again.
Yeah.
Because Ben will be like, "Do you want to go back to meet that person?" No, I don't care. We're gonna go find this magical cave.
Genuinely, I do put a little bit of effort into the road so far on our Instagram page, which is putting beer labels into like this little journal. It's a highlight, so if you want to look it up, if you want to catch up, so yeah, it's there. Anyway, you walk into a store.
Yeah, there is a supercut. It's on our Instagram. Yeah. But is this a sort of like, I'm picturing Heenies. Is it, what I want to picture is like, is it a cool old map, like very authentic, or is this like the O'Carrolls? We've just gotten off the train and it's like the first one. It's for tourists. It's shit. It's all going to be overpriced maps. What's Heenies?
There are so many dynamic shifts between player and DM of like, saying what you find, saying what your character does, saying whether or not you're successful. This is the first one I've had a player describing a scene when they enter what the room looks like. That is so good. Like, I see this. This is what I see.
I fucking love it. I'm here for all of it.
It's going to be one of two. Like, is it an authentic shop? Is it the, tourist trap?
It is authentic. In fact, you're surprised because what you saw on the minecart earlier was a tat show. Like just fucking tat shop, and you just happened to stumble across because you were pointing out that thing that Huck would like on the wall. You're like, oh, Huck would have loved that. You look up and it's like this almost missable, so like properly like, oh, there's cigar cases in the window. Like, is this some like an old bookstore or something? And you're like, way over yonder is Heaney's Map Emporium.
I love Steve Glenn.
I was going to be a real snob. I was going to be like, these look like very, run-of-the-mill maps. Let's get some, So this looks right.
This is a proper
artisanal old, mapping is what I'm looking for.
What a bespoke map.
Excellent. Well, I'll rock in there.
Yeah, you rock in.
It'll be wonderful to discover that we also left Huck in the tourist pub as well, and it's all like foreigners who are there. Like, there's no dwarves in the place at all.
Yeah, it's the temple bar over there. Yeah,
tangoing.
The sign slips down and says the temple bar.
Well, he's having a great time. So.
Yeah. You see tieflings. You see Aarakocra. You see some turtles. They're all tangoing. It's a fun little place. There's one dwarf behind the bar who's gabbing the ear off someone, convincing them of some random Irish thing that's not true. Anyway,
a predator on the prowl.
Yeah, you walk into Heaney's, it's empty. You do see framed up kind of some nice maps. You see sort of along the walls, almost like a decorator shop. These kind of curled up. You can't tell what's in the cubby holes, but curled up cubby holes filled with rolled up scrolls. But there is a desk and no one's currently at it. But there is kind of a rope beside it, which is very obviously attached to a bell.
Okay.
I'm going to nervously... Okay, yeah, he's already there. Good.
Yeah, I'm going to ring the shit out of that bell. I'm going to ring his... That's what I'm going to do.
Hang on. And you see kind of coming down this little ladder from the roof. Like, it's hard to age dwarfs. It's very hard to age dwarfs. But you see this guy who's in... this nice like it's a nice shirt, but it's crumpled. It's clearly never been, ironed. Dwarves iron. Dwarves fucking love ironing.
They hammer their shirts.
They're best with ironing.
What's an anvil for except for ironing?
God, anvils are just irons or ironing boards. Fucking hell.
There are ironing boards and steamers in one. You heat that anvil up, you got a fucking steamer.
But literally, an anvil is just an ironing board for a weapon. That's You've changed my perspective of many things.
Get the creases out of my sword.
I left the bundle in the corner before a battle.
I didn't starch my axe.
He comes down and he goes, I got it. And he's clearly talking to someone else upstairs. He goes, welcome to Heaney's. I'm Heaney. How can I help you?
Hey, we're looking for a map, Heaney.
No fucking shit, Sherlock. Oh, it's a fucking map store.
I like this one. We're new, as you may have guessed from our everything. We're new in Sliabh Gem, and we're sort of looking for something, sort of a catch-all map. Nothing overly specific, just something that can help us find our way around. Something for blow-ins. You know, I'm sure you enjoy blow-ins as a mapman.
Well, we don't do any of the like stars of Sliabh Gem. Here's where you find the fancy people doors. We don't do that. But what we do is, you know what? There has been. Have you heard of Maigland Huckberry? He's a famous cartographer in Hibernia.
Well, no, I feel like this is part of the test. We're not looking for maps to famous people's homes, but I appreciate your attempt to catch us out. No.
Does he live around here? Does he? Because that was thrilling.
No,
It's
he's
like
not
pushing me out of the way. A famous person.
I fell right for this trap. Give me
No. Maigland's not a dwarf. He's not a dwarf cartographer. He just happens to be very good at maps. If you're a fan of maps, you'd be a fan of Maigland's.
Sorry, what was his name?
saying.
Maigland what?
Maigland Huckberry.
What I've heard from Ben, I feel like it is part of my character that I love maps. I have a map right here. I really like
I've
maps.
been our map lord since the start, so I'm.
This is the one I got at the very beginning, but I think Iggy.
Yeah,
Well,
hold up your map. Hold up your map to the screen there.
Okay.
This is not a character thing. This is Ben making sure you've taken care of the map.
Just underneath the realm of Hibernia. What does it say?
It says Maigland Tuckberry, cartographer. That brings me so much joy.
Genuine glee in Lucy's face when she's like, "Whoa! He knew all along."
So I think Iggy would have maybe would know who this person is. If she pays more attention than I do.
Was that an in character kind of like yip of glee?
I think I would have reacted when you said the name because this is like, you know, I have a smartphone. Iggy just has this. So she would have definitely read that line that I did not read.
Yeah, I kind of felt like, even though this wasn't at all a magic trick, it kind of felt like, is that your card?
Yeah.
Something that was...
No, it felt more like asking directions for someone than double checking them on your phone and then looking up and realizing you're asking Steve Jobs for directions and being like, oh, you not only know where I'm going, you invented the thing I'm holding.
Well, I also thought it was just, like, knowing Ben, I assumed he would have literally written on the map that he gave me, like, Lucy, like, fuck off. This is, like, not a real map or something. I don't know. Like, I assumed it was going to be a burn.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Like, 5, addicted.
You specifically.
Yeah. Or, like, so, like, not actually correct, doesn't count for future adventure knowledge or something. Yeah. Anyway, that was thrilling.
Heaney takes out this map and goes, well, if you're a fan of Maigland, he was recently by it. Recently, I say in the last 10 years or so. And he did a map, a Sliabh Gem. And if you want to buy one of his, look, all I can say is, if it's one of his, you know you're in good hands. Because his maps
would be honoured.
And he goes into the back room and rolls out this map of Sliabh Gem in front of you. And Paul, who's our amazing technomancer, was like, Ben, how will I know to put the map up on the screen? And I said, Paul, I will just say it on the screen. I'll be like, show it up on the thing, put it on the overlay.
I don't know how to say this, Ben, but if you were paying attention to the stream, Paul's gone fishing. So
shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Which is unfortunate because Paul hates fishing.
Yeah.
He really
but he loves gags. So.
And he's very bad at fishing as well. Just an extra tip.
I will put it. Where will I put it? I will put it in the workshop on our Discord as well. So there's a map on the screen. That's the map that they roll out in front of you.
Oh shit, that turned out really well. Ooh.
Thank you. Yeah, I was kind of teasing this out on social for a while. Campaign items.
Airs, baby. With rivers and waterfalls.
Can you tell us, or can I ask him to give us a, like, you are here point?
Yes, that's a very good ask. and a very difficult thing. I've also put in, anyone's on Discord, you can get a full-size version of that in there. I made an actual watercolor brush in Photoshop. I fucking surprised myself with the things I've learned. I was like, watercolor brushes? Oh my god. You are in the middle level. Do you see where that little kind of water wheel is? There's like a little forge. It's near the big face that's spitting out water, and then you go along a little bit, and there's like a little water wheel forge-y kind of place beside a well. You're just across the road from that on the northern side in one of those smaller buildings. Sliabh Gem, just for imagination senses, is far more populated and far more busier. But like, turns out if you draw really detailed maps, you don't leave any room for like actual usable instructions on where to go. So imagine it's just wall to wall with like stone buildings, but I just left some space to allow for this. So you're there. You plummeted down that little kind of cliff in your cart, and you're there, and you got off like outside that's where that castle sort of is. See those buildings, those kind of little stone buildings. One of the pubs in there is where Huck is, near where there's like a little cauliflower patch. If you can see the cauliflower patch. It's tiny, so I don't imagine you do.
I was going to say, I mean, how can you see anything else? It's all cauliflower patch.
The little glowing green bits.
No, they're mushrooms. They're phosphorus mushrooms that provide some light in Sliabh Gem. But there's a little kind of like brown fieldy bit, and there's like beside the river, this little cauliflower patch, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, you're there. It doesn't really matter because we're not going to use this to actually get around. We're just using it as a kind of like, cool.
Cool to have.
Quite a burn. So, you really big up like the best map maker ever, and then you get what is the kind of map. I mean, it's a great map bed.
A child would draw.
Kind of map I'd expect to see on a placemat in a restaurant. Somebody would be coloring pictures.
Draw your way to Sliabh Gem.
You're in good hands with this guy, except for it's wildly inaccurate. There's lots more buildings.
Yeah.
He loves the cabbage.
Consider it like a child who plays with a foam sword and a foam shield. In their imagination, it's fucking perfect, and in your imagination, this map is pristine. I have MS Paint level ability when it comes to drawing.
It's a great effort. It's a good looking map. It's just funny because you bigged it up. You were like, this guy, you're never going to be lost with one of these guys' maps.
Yeah, it's not the quality, it's the detail.
Yeah.
Anyway, he rolls this out and he goes, now this will set you back about 10 silver. But honestly, it has all the main landmarks. It's all you want. I could give you one of my maps, except it's basically a non-colorized and less detailed version of that. Because I'd have to.
This will do just fine. I immediately give him 10 silver.
Yeah. You take it, and you get yourself a new map. And yes, the unfortunate thing about being in lockdown and not being able to see each other is I literally have a physical map to roll out and hand to Lucy, who is the map holder of this party.
Can I ask? And the answer to these questions can be something that obviously we can't put on Paul on the screen now if they're not ready. But I mean, Iggy wants to ask for a lot more of Magdalene's work.
Sure.
Also, can I ask now? You're familiar with the Clockwork Tangerine, I assume?
Yeah. The old CT.
Do you have a copy of their works that they've been doing? The Road Network.
The Road Network. Let me see. And he goes into the back to see if he has anything. I'm genuinely going to see if I do have anything.
Nice work, Lucy. That's a great shout.
Well, we are here for a map of the road.
Yeah, I mean, if they just sell them in the shops, that'd be great.
I assume we were going to.
My friend Heaney, just while you're digging into the back there, looking for other things, might I inquire if, and this might be a bit more of an abstract ask than my compatriots ask, do you have any maps of other planes of existence? Is that
what was
wild...
that? I'm head deep in maps, buddy. What was that?
Any maps on other planes of existence? Hypothetically?
I do, but they're in my personal collection. And curtain aside, and he pulls the curtain aside and spoke to you, the character, and to you, Wes. I took it off the internet, so I'm not comfortable putting it on this stream. But I do have a map of Tara, which is in the Astral Sea, which is where the gods reside, which we used in that episode, which we did with your good friend Quail. But I'm not going to put it in here to the bit where someone might put it on the screen.
I'm more thinking basically if Rua is looking to overlay different planes of existence on top of each other, I'm wondering if I can correlate like what parts of other planes would overlap. I'm just not looking for show your work of that cool episode that we had with Quail.
Actually, look, you know what? I've done a personal thing in my old notebook. Let me find me notebook here now, and I'll get it out to you. Just one second.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Heaney. Oh, I do so enjoy Heaney. He's very helpful.
I do have a map. Nah, so I've basically just been dropping maps into Discord to Paul. Just like maps.
I mean, we don't feel the need to put these up on screen. Like, we're just kind of like thinking of stuff to keep for later on.
Yeah.
You can put this one. That there's a map of the plains, Paul. You can just slap it over my face. It has been seen on stream before, and I drew this in a notebook. Which I actually, Paul, if you don't want to put it on screen, I can just take out my little notebook here. Heaney comes back with this. He comes back with a notebook. This one. And he goes, well, this is one of the maps of the plains I've done. It's just look, it's an amateur piece of work, but
No, it's lovely. Don't sell yourself short. It's lovely.
I can tear it out of my notebook and give it to you for.
No, honestly, no. That's I wouldn't want to.
Am I right in thinking we saw that before, but like a mouse drew it in some dirt for us?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
It's weird how when you say that, it sounds so dumb, but that's 100% what happened.
Wasn't that like episode 0 as well, or something like that?
Yeah.
I think so. So I actually probably will.
Because only Iggy would know that. That was when you were having like
I would know that.
Only I would know that, and I'm not there.
Yes, sorry. Huck had the conversation with a mouse.
Oh, it was my mouse, so it was my character, so it wasn't Iggy. Yeah, it was someone else.
Yeah.
It was Pitch Out.
You were playing the mouse, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But
I do have a map of the southwestern bays of Hibernia. I don't know if you know Inish Bay, McKellar, the little like we have a map of there if you want that.
I was going to ask for a map of Inish Cree and of Inish Bay and of the Bahaglen as well.
Look, I tell you what, I don't have a map of the Bahaglen. I don't have a map of Inish Cree, but what I can do is I happen to know Maeglin Tuckberry a little bit personally. It's not one of these Peter Parker Spider-Man things. It's not. I'm not him. But I happen
Takes
to
off
know
his glasses.
That is immediately where I thought this was going, by the way.
I happen to know him personally, and I can get you pictures of Spider-Man. I happen to know him personally, and if you're sticking around Sliabh Gem for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, I could send them through arcane means a bit of a message. He could send something my way using On Post, the best postal service in Hibernia, to get it here maybe within 5 days' time.
Sure.
Splendid. That would be wonderful. Yes, absolutely.
I will need money up front. It is a commission. He is a freelancer, so it is about 5 gold to get this map
he's
done.
not for exposure.
I did say he was a freelance, and that is in their guild. So yeah, exposure is one of the means in which they
I've
get
heard
it.
that pays their rent, so that's fine.
I came here to escape reality, Lucy.
Just so you know, Huck's just bought a pint for everyone. He's just yelled at.
They're getting very flat.
Let's get tangoed.
He was looking for a card game, but I rolled to see if I get
This
find a card
is
game.
important to know exactly how sad the scene is. Did Huck buy one for Rian?
A drink?
Yeah. Is he assuming that Rian is going to walk through the door at some point?
Nah, unfortunately, he's quite, I mean, he thinks of his friends all the time, but he's just having a great crack. He's just, you've already forgot even both of you. He didn't buy you drinks.
He just bought drinks for potential friends, not any
He
specific
bought
friends.
drinks for everyone at the bar.
Nice.
I will have 2 new friends. It doesn't matter if they're the ones I came here with or not.
For all his new friends.
I will give. I will
back,
give the 5 gold.
just so you know, to mark it down in your money, that puts you back 75 silver, 7 gold, 5 silver.
Sweet.
5 silver. Yeah.
No, that's far too much. It puts you back 10 gold.
That's more.
Yeah. No, let's. I rolled some percent on us. Got 75% or something. It puts you back about 5 gold, 3 silver. There's a lot of people in Tip Tango's Tango Emporium.
That's fair.
I'll tell you what, I only have platinum, so I just chucked the barkeep a platinum to cover it all.
Did he say it was I'd have to come back and collect it, or is this something that will be sent to me?
Oh, wait, were you talking to Keelan or us?
I was talking to Huck about buying the drinks in the bar. Platinum covers it because that's 10 gold.
Oh, it was 10 gold. Okay, I thought you went down from 10 gold to 5 gold, 3 silver. I'm like,
We
okay.
did. I tipped with a platinum. Huck doesn't really care.
So to answer your question, Arlington, the money was to cover coming here, but if you want, I could also include postage, and wherever you are in the world, those maps will get you.
Sure.
How much extra is there for that? That sounds incredibly convenient. It's just that 5 days is quite a long time, and I don't know that I'll definitely be here for it. How much extra to have it delivered to wherever I am?
It depends on where you are.
So I paid upon receipt.
Pay it upon receipt. But look, to be honest, On Post is an incredibly reasonable service compared to any other postal service.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. They do wonderful work, yes.
Yeah.
Well, then, yes, I'd like to opt in for that. For delivery, please. Just please don't, if I don't answer within the first 5 to 6 seconds, please don't just leave it in my side passage or at the neighbor's house in the middle of the rain. Hypothetically. I know you would never. I would know you would never.
That happened to me today. I was in the house.
The house that you were in at the time?
Yeah, I was like beside the door. They didn't knock, you know?
What?
Up there, I literally mini rant about On Post because I do hate them. No, I don't care.
No.
Knock on the door, and then my house is very small. In the time it took me to get immediately from upstairs to downstairs, I opened the door. He had left the package in with next door and was already 3 doors down. I was like, how? How did you get that far?
Well, maybe we'll teach all you players to be quicker about what you decide to do in a round. So maybe me and On Post.
For an activity. Now, he wasn't a dwarf, in fairness. If he'd been a dwarven deliveryman, a dwarf liveryman, he might not have been in that situation.
So just so I know what I might need to get to you in a couple of days' time, say it's a couple of weeks over a festive season for some poor DM, how many places am I drawing for you in the meantime through our good friend Megan and Huckberry?
I don't think we're expecting fully drawn maps. I think just kind of like now you have an idea of how this place looks.
Top of the range for you guys. We want Innish Creek.
Specifically Baha Glen, because that's where I think we want to go after this.
And Baha Glen.
Dune More as well. Let's go Baha Glen, Dune More.
Dune More, Baha Glen.
Yeah, you weren't planning on seeing your family this Christmas, were you, Ben? You're just going to draw maps.
Dwarves never sleep.
I mean, you brought us to a shop. I feel like Earl Grey could have handed us a map of the town, but you brought us to a cartographer, so I'm going to make demands.
I brought you to a cartography supplier. No one knows if he draws the maps themselves. Well, except for the map of the plains. But yeah. I can get you a map. I can get you a map. We're never going to see these maps. Yeah, no, you will. You'll get those maps. I like doing them. Honestly, and if anyone who draws maps is watching this and are like, my maps aren't that fucking took me a week. Like a week.
Great, so you've got 4 to make the ones we're looking for.
Exactly. I love doing it though. It's really
actually commissioning an artist and not paying them. This actually makes me feel horrible.
You're paying in fantasy gold, which is all the gold I want. But yeah, I will do that.
A currency you literally invented.
What is crypto except for an invented currency? Pay me in D&D crypto. I will get that to you because much like DMs who like painting minis, I like making maps. So we will do that. So this map is Sliabh Gem, yours for whatever the price I said a moment ago, and the other one for 5 gold. 10 gold was for the 2 commissioned maps. I believe it was 10 silver, which you already paid me because it's jingling in me pockets for this map here. Yeah. And good day, business done. Unless you want anything else. That's a weird thing for a shopkeeper to say. It's up to you when business
I am done selling you things now.
Yeah. Anything else I can provide you?
You've been most helpful. Thank you so much for your time.
Joe, quick question. Do you happen to have the map that you gave us? Do you have a map? When we arrived, there was a lot of different, I heard they were called rails. Do you happen to have a map of those rails and where they all go?
Love, no one has a map of those rails and where they all go. That is a secret, not even on Post or at the top of the chain.
That's just a lover's dream. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. That is just, they're constantly changing the rails. They're constantly changing. Like,
you might as well try to chart the stars and the sun in the sky. You can't do it.
From what I've heard,
Fair.
they started building one rail, they started building another rail. They didn't even use the same materials. The rails don't connect. You have to walk between rail to rail around the Abbey Theatre, and it's just it's a mess.
Okay.
Wait, is this on Pust having a dig at Ian Rud Aaron? That was happening here?
At the Lewis.
Yeah.
Translink Ireland, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure they have beef.
He's having a dig at the French.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say we'll head back to check on little Huck.
Yeah. Make sure our boy is doing okay.
Yeah.
He's made lots of friends.
You head back to Tip Tango's Tango Emporium as I crack open this can.
I'm flush from the thrill of feeling like I got even close to Magdalen Tuckbury.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna roll to see if I'm currently tangoing. No, unfortunately.
So sad. I should correct. It's not Magdalen like the Magdalen Laundries. It's Magdalen like a fantasy.
Okay.
Wait! Nothing in this game should be like the Magdalen Laundries. That's the most.
But that's why I felt compelled to correct this. I was like, not
I
Magdalen.
said Magdalen. I just said it's Maegglin. I don't know. Magdalen. Magdalen.
Yeah. Magdalen
Magdalen.
Tuckbury.
Sure.
Yeah. Which fun story for any watchers, anyone who's into the deep homebrew lore. When Paul, who's our technomancer, and myself first started playing D&D back in 3.5, my elf was called Magdalen. So I've used it as a fantasy name ever since.
Cool.
Was that
not
your go-to
Tuckbury.
fantasy name?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Magdalen Tuckbury wasn't the name. I had some fancy elven prince name. Killen was in that campaign as well.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Ben
So
threw a lot of lightning bolts at me.
that was not me. That was not me. Anyway. You make your way back to Tip Tango's Tango Emporium, and you can hear the thumping beats of tango music playing from inside. And as you walk in, you see dwarves wall to wall tangoing, roses, but it's not roses. It's actually iron bars with ruby gems at the end. They all some of the dwarves have shaven their beards into pointy mustaches because they're tango masters. There are tangos everywhere, and you see Huck to jump back in time while all that map talk was happening, and you walked around the bar. There was one as you started buying drinks for people, and as you went around the room, you heard someone they weren't necessarily in the shadows on purpose. It's just it's a tango bar, so anything that's alcoved and sort of in that European booth sort of way.
Who doesn't know what a tango bar is like? I mean, come on, you don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's in a little booth in shadow. You hear a voice that goes, "Well, lad, I actually didn't think I'd ever see you ever again. If you're handing out drinks, I'll have one." And you come up upon a bushy beard, sort of a mix of kind of grey and ginger, a big long brimmed hat with a sort of pointy fold, and he's wearing a cloak. And you know this to be one of the first people you ever met when you joined the Fianna, a wizard by the name of Tig McGuinness. He goes, "Well, Jesus, didn't expect to see you here, lad. Are you by yourself?"
You know me. I'm with some mates, but they're off to some map job. You know maps. You know mates and maps. It's always the way, isn't it?
Don't get me started. And like, he's still in the Fianna. Jesus, you were about to join the Fianna the last time I saw you.
I joined the Fianna as soon as I met you.
Yeah. How's that going?
I mean, it's been going great. Oh, except for they're having a wee bit of trouble back in the old Elven place.
They're having trouble down in Drake.
Yeah, all the Fianna are being locked up. The elves have gone on an old pogrom. Don't know why I use that word. Against the old Fianna.
Huh. Well, if you're not going anywhere with that second pint, sit down. Let's catch up. It's been months. It's been years, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I played. You still play jacks?
If it's going, I'll play.
I get out the old jacks.
Right. I have rules for jacks. I said that I would make rules for
you
jacks.
telling? Well, I play by the rules.
Yeah. What a square. Okay.
I mean, it's what? It's going to be sleight of hand, right?
No.
No.
I've been threatening for fucking since
You
this
have
game
mentioned a
started.
couple times you've got like kind of mechanics for this.
So you need to roll. This is how Jax works. If I can remind myself, you need to choose a number of d6 to roll. So you can choose 1, 2, 3, or 4 d6,
Right.
and the result on that number. So if say you roll 4d6 and you get an 8, that's the number you have to beat with a d20 plus dex or sleight of hand.
Right. Okay. I see.
And if you win, you get to remove that many d6 from your opponent's pool. So you start with 4d6, your 4 jacks. So you can bet 1 jack to get it, and then if you win the round, you get to remove 1. So they can only ever roll within 3 or 2 or 1. So you're trying to deplete the number of d6.
Right. Okay.
That's quite cool, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
Trying to beat their and
So
it's
you can choose
D20
whatever you
plus
want to
sleight of
handle. And then you have to beat it with a sleight of hand check.
Cool. Well, Huck's an all-in kind of lad.
Okay.
He's very good at jacks.
If you lose, however, your opponent can take that many, can like gets advantage on the roll. Let's just say they get. I think I read that somewhere.
What?
If you lose, so say if you bet, no, that doesn't make any sense. If you bet 4 things and you don't beat the number, then you don't have to. You don't get anything, and they don't get anything, but because they're betting against each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if I lose, I can lose a dice if you want. I don't know, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Tig bets 2 d6. Fucking hell! Got an 11.
all right. What are we looking at? We're looking at 9, 10, 14.
Nice.
All right. Come
So you
on.
can beat a 14.
Oh, that's a 3, and my sleight of hand is not 9.
So I got an 11 with his 2d6.
11.
And he rolled a 15 on the dice plus a sleight of hand. So he's going to take away 2 of your d6. You can only bet 2d6 now.
No. All right. Well, 2d6.
So
all in.
as you played Jackson, like the pints, the kind of dwarven ale is slagging back. You got some stone aged whiskey. Let's say it's aged in stone, and they cracked open a fucking pillar, and the whiskey came out, and it was fucking so good. And he brought it over to Tig. He's going to bet 1d6 this round.
Okay. Aha! 5 in my 2d6. Now let's go skills. So just to clarify, my sleight of hand is +6. So
Okay.
yeah, 15.
So you bet 2 and got 15. He bet 1 and got he got a 3 on the dice and a 4 on the d20 plus the sleight of hand, which I'm sure I have somewhere. But either way, the dice are dice. So you lose 1d6, but he loses 2.
Okay.
So you're down to 1.
Right.
And he's down to 2. He's going to bet those 2. Actually, no. He's going to bet those 1 because he only have 1 left.
Oh! I rolled a 1, and then on my d20, I rolled a 1.
Amazing.
Plus my sleight of hand. I'm fine.
Yeah. He rolled a 6 and got a 7 on his D20. So all in all, it's a pretty good game of jacks, but just he pipped you at the last post, and took away your final jack. That's obviously not how jacks work. Obviously, it's you start small and go big, but for dice, I went the other way around.
It's not really a competitive game as much as well. You just do it on your own, and then the other person tries to beat you. But no, I loved it. I haven't had a good game of jacks against a competent friend in probably since the last time I met you.
Competent.
I wouldn't be surprised, lad. I wouldn't be surprised. This isn't the West Midlands Garda accent that Arlington gave Tig way back, or Wes gave Tig way back in session 0. It was more kind of like, well, the Breathy Wells. There we are. There's Tig McGuinness. Well,
I mean, if he had a Nigerian accent, I'd be fine with it. It's you're playing the NPCs. I was just throwing you under the bus for one game.
Oh no, I'm happy to. I'm happy to take the breathy Irish accent. Breathy lets me get to be dub, but also be.
I mean, you're getting the essence of them, basically. Yeah, like when you get a taxi in the Midwest, like that's how the guy sounds.
Well, what a class game of jacks we just played there. Thanks very much, Huck. I appreciate it. Hasn't been to be honest, hasn't been since I last played you that I had a game of Jacks either. So,
Aye, there's too few of us play jacks.
so you say you're here with friends.
Aye. I mean, have you ever known me not to be with friends?
He just chuckles to himself and knocks back the whiskey. And he just kind of pounds on the table and goes, to get service in a Dwarven city, you just pound. And lo and behold, more drinks come around. And at that moment in time, Iggy and Arlington, you enter Tip Tango's Tango Emporium. As you see, you can see the back of Huck's head, and he's talking to a stranger in the corner. Now, you remember what you said to him when you left. If a stranger comes to talk to you... but this character is kind of shrouded in this sort of classic wizard's hat and classic wizard's robe, but a bit kind of ginger and grey around the beard, staff at the side. The staff kind of gently glows. And you catch them in the middle of, it's about to say coitus. I meant laughter. But like...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a good game of jacks.
Yeah, no. In my head, just went coitus. Which, what a weird word to use too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're guffawing, and they seem to be. You seem to stumble across.
You know?
Yeah, you stumble across too. A sorcerer and a wizard catching up on old times.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Well, Arlington, as I live and breathe, I'm here looking for you. And that is where we'll end the final stream of 2020.
Yeah.
What the?
Let's leave it there. We will be back on January 19th to pick up on the conversation where, in a show that's all about
He's
parents.
been my dad since episode 1 of the show.
Oh my god, I can't wait to find out how your dad wants to kill every living creature. I love it's different. It's like,
yeah, Ben's working in like all parents are just the worst. We must defeat them.
Irish mythology is all about parents, right?
Yeah. I'm glad Irish mythology is all about like defeating your parents, and we're not like those Greeks whose parents are all just kind of like, well, their mythology, they do things to other. No one trusts Zeus with their cats.
But yes, Tig McGuinness, the famous paternal figure to Arlington McGuinness.
This is thrilling.
We will be back on January 19th. In the meantime, if you're watching live, please do spread the word. We hope the show's good. We hope you enjoy it. We hope that it's providing some level of D&D and boozy entertainment. We hope that we're not just destroying our livers for not. And tell a friend, if there's anyone who's geeky in your life, give them the gift of us this Christmas. That's so fucking cheesy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Small shows like us need communities like you to survive. So please do keep us thriving.
Sorry.
We also fucking really appreciate it, by the way. I'm not saying this isn't like an amnesty or an appeal. Like, we genuinely, everything you're already doing is fucking great.
Yeah, we love our fans very, very much.
Yeah, you guys are honestly the best. But the podcast is there to help new people jump in. So that's what that's there for. And also as an alternative medium. It's not just there for that. Look, we will be back in 2 weeks' time. We'll pick up in Sliabh Gem at this exact moment in time. To figure out what the fuck this is about. Until then, enjoy the holidays. We will. We'll be active on our Discord. You can jump in. We'll be doing some holiday stuff. There might even be some sneaky holiday games. I will have the DM itching going. I want to run something.
We're gonna figure something out for the break. All right.
Yeah, we'll do something over the break. So get in touch with us there on the Discord. If you're not a fan of Discord or you don't use Discord, our social channels are there. Our email is rollforhomebrew@gmail.com. You can get in touch with us. We're literally so accessible. You can find our personal social media accounts. You can reach us there. We're not big deals.
Please don't.
But Keelan, who doesn't have any. Enjoy your beers. Support local. Support each other. Look after each other. It's been a fucking hell of a year, but it looks like 2021 might start with a bit of brightness. Thank fuck. So we'll be back on January 19th. There's going to be Christmas. There's going to be New Year's. There's going to be the best birthday in the world. It's mine. Over that time period.
I fully thought you meant mine. I'm on 5th of January. I was like, oh, how lovely.
There's going to be the best and second best birthdays in the world. Our parents fucked around Paddy's Day. That's how we were born. That's you do the math. We will be back. Until then, huge thank you to our tech team. Huge thank you to Dakota Irish supporting the show since like literally very early on days. This episode 0 wraps around to episode 35. We're playing the long con, baby. But most importantly, until then, look after yourselves. Be sound to one another. Good night and joy be with you all.
Go watch episode 0. See the jump in production quality.
Oh, genuinely. Yeah. Hey, it's our Technomancer Paul. Merry Christmas, Paul.
He's back from fishing.
It's all pre-recorded. There's been a robot behind. There's been a little duck dipping into water.
Paul died 3 years ago.